The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93
When I was a child, my mom told me if I went on a roller coaster, my head would snap off. What the heck kind of parenting skills are those? I didn't go on a roller coaster till last summer. I wore 7 turtlenecks.
I had a bad experience on this ride once before.
What happened?
I threw up.
Sorry, the only reason I ever wanted to lose weight was to ride a roller coaster. If you want to get on a ride nowadays and you're over 250 and the ride goes upside down, don't bother getting in line. Don't do it because you're going to wait 2 hours, you're going to get to the front, and then you have to deal with the girl. Sorry, sir, you just don't fit. Then you got to do that long-ass walk of shame through 2 hours of people waiting in line. All the people are pointing, hey, that's him! That's the guy! That's him! That's the guy! All the little kids.
Damn! National Roller Coaster Day, August 16th.
It's showtime.
There you go. That's how you get it started right there. Welcome, everybody, and all of y'all. You've tuned into the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Just telling you now in case it was an accident. She's Wednesday, National Roller Coaster Day. I used to ride those roller coasters when I got the chance. By God, I would, Josh.
I did too. I used to love roller coasters.
I absolutely love them.
Do you still do?
Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I stop being polite and start getting real?
Go for it, man.
Is that all right with you? I can't do it anymore.
No.
My stomach, which my dad used to say was cast iron because I could go on anything over and over and over. It doesn't matter what you fed me beforehand. I never got nauseous, nothing. As a kid, never threw up. Doesn't matter how much cotton candy and rides you threw at me. But now I'm a wimp. I can't even bounce on a trampoline now. It's sad. It's just getting old. It sucks.
You're not alone. Not alone. Not even by a long shot. Yeah, roller coasters are way too much for my older and much more delicate self now. But I sure enjoyed roller coasters at an earlier stage in my life.
I remember the Wild Thing came out at Valley Fair. They sent out promotional videotapes, a VHS tape, so you could put in. They kind of showed you all about the roller coaster, showed you like a point, a POV shot of somebody riding the coaster, and you saw that big dip, and it was so exciting to go on that the very first time.
I got a big dip for you right here. Skull long cut mint. If anybody wants to. Dude, it's funny you brought up the POV, the point of view gimmick. And now that you mention it, I think, when the hell did that friggin' ride open? 20 years ago?
Yeah, 95, 96, something like that.
Wild Thing, really? I thought it was older than that just because I swear we went when I was in high school, and I graduated in 93.
Really?
That was our senior trip.
I never would have guessed it was that old.
Maybe it's not. For whatever reason, I thought it was open at that time.
But I think I remember those VHS tapes with the point of view ride on Wild Thing. I believe they were sent here to the radio station for everybody to watch, so then we could talk about it on air. But speaking of that point of view gimmick, you can hang out on YouTube all day long and watch point of view roller coaster rides.
Yeah.
Okay, since we were obviously going to discuss National Roller Coaster Day, before we went live, I clicked on some wildly dangerous and popular roller coaster from Taiwan or something, right? I clicked on it over here, and I almost puked
Oh, jeez.
on myself just watching the YouTube point of view deal.
Those ones are fun. I like watching those videos, especially if it's like a new coaster that you might be interested in, taking something like that. Have you ever been Nick, you've never been to Disneyland, have you?
No, the closest I can compare to a Disneyland, Disney World is once I went to Universal Studios, Florida.
Oh, that's cool.
I was forced to go there. It was a work thing. It was terribly unenjoyable. Go right ahead.
Oh, really? You didn't like it? I liked Universal
It was
Studios.
so hot and miserable, I could not wait to get the hell out of there.
96, by the way, for Wild Thing at the fair.
Is that right? There's no way I would have thought that.
Yeah, me either. Jeez.
So what about Disneyland, Disney World?
Disneyland has a coaster, an Aerosmith-themed roller coaster, and it's pretty cool. I think the gist is, and it's been 20 years, you are late for a gig, right? You're Aerosmith, you're late for a gig, and this thing has the quickest torque that I've ever been on as far as a roller coaster goes. It was so fast.
God, they
to
didn't
start
make
out.
They didn't make you listen to any of their songs beyond 1986, did they?
I don't remember.
They didn't play "Dude Looks Like a Lady" or "Ragdoll" or anything.
Oh, I'm
awful
sure they
like
did.
that.
"Dude Looks Like a Lady."
Oh no,
That would be the scariest part, right
that's
there.
the worst part.
Oh.
That's the worst part for Wapple and I.
Yep.
And we'd be in the chair, locked in, going, "Play something from the '70s. play Back in the Saddle or Toys in the Attic or something. Why are you playing this stuff from? Oh no, Pink. You're gonna play Pink? Come on, don't play Pink. Don't play Love in an Elevator. Oh, now we're throwing up. They played Love in an Elevator on the Aerosmith ride. They couldn't come up with anything from the '70s. But that whooped your ass, huh, Cubby?
Well, no, it was just fun. I was not expecting it to be that quick. That was really cool. They just do such a good job at those parks of really immersing you in the experience. I thought it was like even waiting in line isn't miserable because there's something going on.
Yeah.
Especially the Disney parks.
Yeah, the closest I can say was my trip to Universal Studios, Florida, and I really don't remember what I was able to do. That was quite a few years ago.
But now for those parks, you got to take out a second mortgage.
Oh my God,
it's ridiculous how much those things go for.
I told you that I went to Valley Fair this year and how much I enjoyed it and how the place is beautiful now. It's absolutely beautiful. It's nice and clean, and there's so many. I didn't go on any rides, and I still had a great time. I mean, I went on the trolley.
That's fun.
I trolleyed myself around the park, and you wave at people at every crossing. Hey!
So I was just there too, and I noticed that all the workers had to wave too. So I think that must be part of the game.
Part of the game.
Yes, they do,
Every single
Wapple.
time you have to wave to someone.
And I went on the trolley enough times where one of those young kids, his wave to me got less enthusiastic every time. He's looking at me as if to say, that's all you're going to do, old timer, is keep going by me on the friggin' trolley, and I'm forced to wave at you. But I went there, and I did bring a couple of younger kids with me. My sister's kid and one of her friends. They're 13, 14, something like that, right?
Prime age.
Birthday present. Prime age for roller coaster rides, absolutely. Yep. So they told me they just went running buck wild, and I met up with them at one point or another, and they told me they were boarding one of the wicked ass roller coasters over there at Valley Fair, maybe Excalibur, doesn't matter, but right when they were getting her going, they hit the brakes and everything shut off because. And this is what I got a kick out of. The kids told me that someone got on the mic and said, "Oh, sorry, you got to get off because we had a," how did they put it? "We had a child sickness, and we got to clean the sumbitch out before we let you, before we cut you. A child sickness happened."
Did you guys know that Nick and I broadcast from the grand opening of Steel Venom in 2003?
Oh, right.
No
That's
way.
pretty cool.
That's my favorite ride there.
Oh, is it?
I love that thing.
I hated it. I was slightly hungover, and they strapped us on this thing, didn't they,
They
Josh?
did.
We were one of the first people to get a chance to ride it, thanks to Valley Fair. I mean,
That was really cool.
I hated that effing setup.
They liked us back then.
I never went on it ever again.
The only thing I wasn't prepared for, I was really excited because at the time I was really into that kind of stuff. I loved it. Remember nobody told us about the scream at the top, before you're supposed to go down?
Yeah.
No one. Oh my gosh.
And we were like that's the part that freaked me out the most.
We thought somebody had died.
And I
Yeah.
wondered if it was me. Did I make that noise?
And it holds you up there for a couple extra seconds.
Who did that? Well, now I've become the purse and possession holder. Whenever anybody has something and they want to go on a ride, I just kind of hold all of it.
Yeah.
It's nice to have one of those people, though.
It used to be my mom. Now it's me. That's what I am now.
That's all right.
I tried one of those wristbands. They say, like, you put this wristband on, it's
Sure.
supposed to help. That did nothing for
for
me.
motion sickness.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then I haven't tried Dramamine or anything like that.
Oh,
Or is it
well.
Dramamine?
It's
I don't know, but that stuff works pretty good.
Does
one of the
Yeah.
two. One of the two.
Dramamine sounds like you could be on a reality TV show, take that, and all of a sudden there's trouble.
Dramamine. Yeah, I've always been all right when it comes to I mean, when we used to go fishing at Lake of the Woods summer after summer, you'd encounter some big rollers up there. Not quite like you might find on Lake Michigan or something, but you'd encounter some big rollers. And I did fish with some guys who could easily get sick from the motion, from the repetitive up and down and up and down.
Oh, it's the worst.
I've never been seasick like
it's
that.
not fun.
But Cubby, I'll tell you this. We had Dramamine. We had those wristbands, but some of those boys, they're a little too tough for that. I ain't putting on one of those wristbands. And then somebody would, hey, princess, that's a nice-looking wristband, right? They were too tough. They're too big of cowboys to put on the wristbands or take the Dramamine. But then, guess what? An hour into our boat ride, they're chumming over the side of the boat. But they're too proud. They won't put that stuff on.
They also have these really cool, like sticker type things that you can put behind your ear.
Oh, I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah, when I was on like a charter on Lake Michigan, there was really high waves. And I was just ridiculously sick. But the captain, he was like, oh, should have got these. And he showed me those little stickers. He said that's what everybody uses on those boats out there. So
I've never heard of such a thing.
yeah, I don't really know how they work.
I've always been all right on a boat.
Yeah, I've been fine on boats.
And I don't know if it's motion sickness specifically that has killed my roller coaster riding career. I don't know if you define it as that. I just know that a number of years ago I went on probably the Wild Thing, since it's right here in town, and it just took forever to feel right again. And I said, well, that's it, I'm done, and I haven't dangled with one. I mean, I still enjoy the Chamber of Farts at the State Fair every year.
Chamber of Farts.
Every year I still go on the Chamber of Farts ride at the Midway. Wapple, you too?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies, we have a tradition. We have to go on it every single year.
Yeah. Well, why don't we? Can I come with you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been going every year now for a good decade or something on the Chamber of Farts. And I would love to, but can I please don't make me an official member of the Doink Gang.
No, I dated a girl who worked there. She was one of the more prolific farters.
Was she?
Yeah, she really made a name for herself.
Chamber of Farts. I love that freaking scene at the fair.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are, 8 days away?
We are.
It's coming up quick.
So close.
We
haven't
mentioned it much. People have been asking, if they're going to make a trip, and maybe we'll be there at the same time. So our plan is the Friday mornings. Hopefully we can get there by about 10 and stay a couple hours. So the 2 Fridays of the fair is when we're going to be there.
2 Fridays. Try to get there around 10 a.m. We'll get on your case about this next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you're planning a trip, we'd love to meet you and hang out a little bit.
Who was that listener a few years ago, Josh, where we were standing at the booth and we spotted her from a long distance away, and she was running to the booth in order to catch us before we left?
State Fair Jesus.
She was jiggling all over the place, and we fell in love with her. State Fair Jesus?
And we haven't heard from her in a long time.
Did she pass away?
I don't know.
I haven't heard from her in a long time.
I follow her on Twitter. She seems alive.
She has not passed away?
Seems alive.
She seems alive.
As far as I know.
Why haven't we heard from her?
I don't know.
There's another listener that we fear he's passed away.
Yeah.
Because he used to bother us every day.
Well, not bother us.
Yes, he did bother us. He bothered the hell out of us. And we haven't heard from him in a long time. Maybe
you do get concerned. Speaking of concern, thank you to Mohawk Mechanic Jesus and a few other people who have texted in. And they're happy to hear that everyone is here today. Nobody got fired because we had mentioned one of the biggest bosses in the company was coming to the Twin Cities. He was in town yesterday. We were supposed to have a meeting, but somebody messed it up. And or in a incredibly impressive power move, never showed up to our meeting yesterday. So we sat there, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's not coming in." So it's impressive.
It was kind of fun going down memory lane, though, while we were sitting there talking about old radio stories.
What was happening?
Remember we were sitting there and we were telling old radio stories. You guys were naming all the bosses you've had here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
That was a good time.
Listeners were asking you about it, huh, Josh? What happened with the big boss?
Yeah, it was nice. I got a couple of emails yesterday.
Appreciate the concern.
If they needed, anybody here needed a letter of recommendation or anything like that.
A GoFundMe set up.
We're not sure why the dude never showed up, but he never showed up yesterday.
Like I said, I was wickedly impressed. I thought, well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah.
He's probably just got better things to do.
Well, guess who's ditching who today?
Two can play in that game, sir.
You think I'm sticking around? Not going to do it. We'll have a pissing match, me and him. We'll see who wins. Oh, man.
Dana, are you wearing the same thing you wore yesterday?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That's hilarious.
Aren't you too?
I am, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, head to toe. Head to toe, the exact same thing.
Wow.
Undies and socks and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that shows. Aren't you too, Nick?
No,
yours is
I have
different?
a different hoodie, a different T-shirt, different pants, clean underwears, everything.
I changed 3 times since yesterday.
You did?
Yes.
Whoa.
That's wow.
Did
Okay.
you pee yourself or something?
No, I went golfing and then I went to bed.
Well, you do
So-
sweat a lot, you've said.
You were at Aldi and then you went
No,
to...
I went golfing and then I
Golfing.
had to put on my PJs and then I had to put on today's clothes. Yeah, I have an Aldi grocery store outfit.
I went to Aldi and then I thought I'd change. Well, we'll see what happens with... You guys will see what happens with that boss today. I'm not sticking around after the way he treated us yesterday.
Disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Very disrespectful.
And I had to ditch out, as soon as we found out the meeting wasn't going to happen today, I had to haul ass to get down to Egan for a doctor's appointment. And I get there, and the lady's like, taking my info, and she goes, "Oh, well, you're 7 days early. The appointment's next Tuesday." I'm like, "Oh, wonderful. This is great."
Were they able to sneak you in?
What's that?
Did they get you in?
They're, I said, well, that's on me. That's my fault. I'm an idiot. But I did make up for it by going to Taco John's, though. So
Oh, yeah.
That does help.
mhm, that helped cure my agony of realizing that I'm going to have to go back to Egan next week.
They are, as an Eganite now, we were pretty excited about that Taco
Yeah,
John.
I bet.
Sad to see a Dairy Queen go,
Yes.
but happy that it was going to be a Taco John's.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we did sit around and jaw-jack about the old days a little bit while we were waiting on this boss that never showed up.
It was kind of fun.
You've
in
got
the
a
way-
great memory, Josh. You
Well,
really do.
You were quizzing me on, all right, name all of our former engineers. Name all of our promotion directors.
You're good, dude.
Oh, it'd be easier now. These young kids have it so easy because, we have no employees in this building anymore.
Right.
There's barely anybody to remember. Yeah, there were some pretty good stories from back in the day. We worked with some odd ducks.
Yeah, there's been a long line of them. The one story that I did not remember was at one point or another, we had somebody here in the building who tried to have a telephone conversation by answering a banana.
That was my favorite thing.
This is a true story.
At one point or another, there was a guy walking around. He was pretending like he was on the phone, and he was speaking into a banana.
Not speaking, screaming.
Screaming
This
into
was,
a...
in the back parking lot here.
I don't recall that.
And I'd always heard, just be careful. This person's a little unhinged.
Oh.
And you could tell a little bit. Like more stress, I thought. They just carry a lot of stress. And, sure, you can understand. But, there was somebody came in and said, hey, so-and-so's screaming into a banana out there. And somebody else went out there and oh, my God, he's screaming into a banana.
Oh.
And then, he ended up getting committed into a facility. But, yeah, he had a bad day there.
This place ruins people.
Yeah, it does.
I like to believe I have a pretty friggin' good memory. I went to a big high school, and I'm pretty damn good. I can recognize folks even after all these years. I can remember names, remember certain things that happened. Much, much better, I think, than my friends. They often tell me, damn, how do you remember? But Josh, you were spot on yesterday, rolling through all these names. I mean, and there's a big difference, in my opinion, between remembering your high school glory days and remembering the miseries of 27 years in this friggin' building. There's happy memories and there's bad memories. You know what I'm saying? I think my brain has pushed out some of that information. So, you're a long shot for Alzheimer's, I think. You're doing good.
Well, it's the more recent stuff that I forget.
What else is going on today? What is it, Thursday? What was it, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
All right, Brad Ruiter, Randy Shaver at 7:30.
Alzheimer's.
What was I just saying?
I forgot.
My long-term memory, I think.
Yeah, you got a good long-term
Still
memory.
very sharp. Short-term, what day it is? Don't know. All right. I don't even know. Well, I mean, speaking of age, how old are we all now? Ashley, let me try to run through the roster. Ashley, 25.
Yep.
Wapple, 31. Mm-hmm. Dana, 38.
Correct.
Wapple, or I said that already. Josh, 48.
48. Yep.
Oh, damn, I'm good. How old am I?
You are 51.
Be 52 and damn near exactly
Almost a month.
Oh, yeah.
a month.
Mm-hmm.
People online were talking about the thing they hate the most about their current age. So let's see if we can relate to what folks who are in the general range of each of our ages are saying, if in fact they fall into that general range. People talking about the things they hate the most about their current age. Here's a 71-year-old. Body is beginning its inevitable slowdown. Not happy. Not happy. That's not good to hear. But wait a minute.
That's 70.
71?
That's pretty good, I would say.
Is when your body is beginning its inevitable slowdown, then I think you're in pretty good shape.
On Monday afternoon, my right arm and bicep were really sore, and I was like, "Oh, did I get a good lift in over the weekend? Did I forget?" I'm like, "Oh no, I threw like 4 or 5 games of darts, and that's why my arm is so sore right now."
If a 71-year-old said my body is beginning its inevitable shutdown, I would be worried. But when you say just slow down, you're probably doing all right. 34, just old enough to start thinking about getting old and no longer feeling young. I didn't really have that vibe until I hit about 40, 41. That's when I noticed that things were not working the way they used to. I think I held on all right till about 40 or 41. That's when I thought, when did it become so much work to get out of bed? Why is it so difficult for me to bend over and pick up something or another off the floor? 36-year-old here. I can still play the sports I played when I was younger, but now there are younger people who are faster than me, and my knee is basically a time bomb. I haven't made the switch to thinking that I can't treat my body like a rag doll anymore, and I'm paying for it. Speaking of that kind of thing, like I was just saying, I think I held on all right till about 40, 41. But I remember at around 36, 7, 8, still playing beer league hockey. The 1,000-point career, you guys know that already. What I remember about that age range was my reflexes slowing down to a point to where it was really no longer safe for me to be on the ice. Where a wrist shot would whiz by my nose, and I didn't even see it coming until it whipped past me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
44. Here's a 44-year-old saying, I only have about 40 years left if I'm lucky. Half of my life is already gone. Depressing thought, I guess.
Yeah.
For some people.
I mean, that's optimistic in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way I'm living to 84. Or, well, you said 44, so 88. I don't think so.
Well, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't.
Well, no male in my family's made it past 65.
Well, yeah, but no male in your family has probably led as healthy a life as you have.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I think you're gonna be one of those sorry sumbitches that's like 106.
Oh, definitely. He's
Yeah.
getting the Kostjas, please.
And he's still running down all of our program directors. and the nurses at the old folks home are like, dude, shut up with the program. And then our promotions directors went like this.
Dana's walking me into Fast and Furious 40.
29-year-old says, people expect that you should know things by now. People also expect that you should be married and have kids or whatever. Sure, there's a lot of that goes around when you get into your later 20s, into your 30s.
28's the only, that was the first and really only time where I started getting concerned about age. Simply because I remember in high school, they'd have a returning student and they'd be 30 or in their 30s, and you'd think, my God, that is old. I can't imagine being 30, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. So that was the first time I really thought, geez, I'm getting old. I'm going to be in my 30s soon enough. And since then, I haven't cared too much. I'm looking forward to retirement community age.
Oh,
where I
man.
can get into one of those retirement communities.
Oh, it
Like
sounds...
Shavers Inn? That sounds awesome.
Yep. Yep. That's going to be great.
Nothing but pickleball courts and pudding? I'm in.
And there are a couple of these friggin' joints where, I mean, I only got about 2, 3, 4 years left before they'll let me in the joint. That's exciting.
That is exciting.
It's incredible. They do everything for you. Here's a 40-year-old talking about people sharing the things they hate the most about their current age. A 40-year-old says, everything is harder now except my penis. A 19-year-old says, I have no idea what to do with my life.
Sweet, me neither.
Yeah.
I'm twice your age.
That is a tough age, though. Right? All of a sudden, you're an adult, and it's no more, well, you're a young person. It's you better start thinking about what you're going to do for work.
Your F-ups aren't as cute and charming as they were when you were 15 or 16.
Yeah, I mean, unless you were in college, then I guess you got a few extra years to figure it out.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I was going to say, I don't think that it really terrified me until like 22, 23.
Yeah, 19's, I think, pretty young to be talking about what am I going to do with my life.
Yeah,
you're,
I was
you're
still
okay.
getting like
You're
drunk
okay.
every weekend and like hanging out with my friends constantly.
Oh,
that
I
was still fun.
I was the most careless, clueless. It didn't matter yet. 22, 23, you start to think, okay, maybe I ought to get a gig here and contribute to society.
Well, I remember it was just tough picking a major. I wanted to be, a rock guitar player. And so I was like, well, I guess I could major in music, but I was worried about having a backup plan. I'm still formulating one.
Yeah.
24-year-old here sharing what he hates about his current age. He just simply says, empty wallet.
I wish I could say that gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine stayed empty for a long friggin' time.
I remember one time when we were just out of college, people were working entry-level jobs. I was working part-time at radio. All my friends, we were all broke, and we were sitting around talking about how hard it is to make, bank all the bills and all of everything like that. And one of my friends just goes, well, we could stop going to the bars on the weekends. And we all kind of paused, and we all just burst out laughing. She's like, yeah, I can barely even say that with a straight face.
There's nothing worse than one of those practical guys that tells you it's an easy way you could save money, and it's the one thing you don't want to give up the most.
My boyfriend's like that, and I hate it. I'm like, I don't need that. I want your support. Yeah, I need $80 worth of Halloween decorations.
Now, this is interesting to me. This is supposedly a 17-year-old talking. And, a minute ago, I was explaining what I was like as a 19-year-old. It was even worse when I was 17. But this is supposedly a 17-year-old talking. There's no way I could come off like this when I was 17, talking about what they don't like about their current age. I'm not sure if this applies to everyone, this 17-year-old says, but I have the expectations of an adult with the rights of a child. I have to go to school for 8 hours a day and then work for 3 to 5 hours. And manage all of my current responsibilities while maintaining good grades to stay on the path of long-term educational and financial success, but I also have to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
That's pretty funny.
I feel that. That sucked.
That is a deep-thinking 17-year-old.
Yeah, 17-year-olds might go on to some great things in life.
Good
That's
Lord.
He still has to ask to go to the bathroom.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
What was ridiculous?
Having to ask to go to the bathroom. It's like,
You talking about like in school?
Yeah, they're so right. Because, I was going to school and then leaving school to go work my part-time job. Like, that is weird to think about.
I can't think of one deep thought I had ever when I was 16, 17, even 18 years old. I told you guys before that senior year of high school, I'm sitting, and towards the end of my senior year, I'm sitting in the lunchroom doing nothing, skipping class probably, and there's a member of the yearbook staff or something along those lines, and he's going around and he's talking to all of the seniors who were hanging around the lunchroom that day. And eventually he comes over to me, and he says, hey, this is for the senior yearbook or whatever it was, or for the yearbook. Just going around asking everyone their plans for the future. And I said, I have no idea. And he said, oh, you're not going to go to school or, and I said, I have no clue. And then I looked at the clipboard he held in his hand, and it was, Donnie Johnson, going to go to Michigan State. Frank, Hot Nuts, going to go to Dunwoody, right? And I was completely thrown, completely bewildered by how my fellow students already knew where they were going to college next year. The concept had never been presented to me. I really thought that you waited until after high school and then you make some phone calls. Hey, Michigan State, can I go to school there? Do you follow how?
Yeah, I understand.
I did not. I had no idea. That's bad. And it dawned on me a few years later. My folks never had this conversation with me. No one ever had this. I have no idea.
You didn't have school counselors or anything that kind of checked in with you?
Approached me.
Yeah, thankfully
that
the
concept
teachers
was
were there.
completely foreign to me, that you would be planning all this time to go to a...
I wonder if you just skipped it, because I thought, didn't you, your schools where you had to meet with a counselor?
Never heard of it.
I don't ever remember like having to meet with a counselor to like decide college, but I remember like there being like something during reading hour my senior year, like, hey, you should probably start thinking about going to college and like applying for schools. And I was like, oh yeah, it's about that time. Okay.
I mean, it was like the first day of senior year, and you're already looking into colleges that you wanted to go to, and
that did not occur to me, Wapple.
Yeah, by the first like quarter of the year, you already kind of knew where you were going.
I wasn't one of those kids, and it terrified me.
You had to get like scholarships in if you were one of those kids. Those had to be done super early.
How is it that I was the only kid in my entire school who had no idea that things worked that way? I remember walking up, after seeing that clipboard, I remember walking up to a buddy of mine saying, hey, do you like already know what you're doing next year? The guy said, yeah, I'm going to go to the University of Illinois. And I was like, damn, what's happening around here? All right, we better get out of here. We could get back into this later if you wanted to, but kind of fitting when we were talking about how some of us are too old for roller coasters. A friend of mine recently said, here, this is about as deep as the thinking goes in my friend group. A friend of mine recently said when he turned 50 or something like that, he goes, oh man, 50 years old. And I said, yeah. And he goes, I was just thinking about something recently. And I said, what's that? And I thought maybe the fact that he had turned 50, this was going to be some kind of a statement on life in general, or approaching the latter days of life or something like that. But this is what he says. He said, it just kind of blows my mind to think that I've been getting drunk as I possibly can every weekend ever since I was 16.
Slightly depressing.
Oh, that's just commitment is what that is. And a guy that knows what he likes.
Yeah, dude, congratulations. You're a terrific crowd. It's our Wednesday show. In about an hour and 20 minutes, we'll have Brad Ruiter and Randy Shaver joining us. We got all kinds of fun between now and then. We'll be right back on the Half-Fast Morning Show.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace or AC is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep. Going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Ah, dang it. So cold in here.
It was worse when I first got here. You heat things up when you come in a room. I'll tell you what.
I'll say it again. I can't wait for winter so I can warm up a little bit. Finally turned the furnace on in here. This friggin' AC's killing me. Killing me, Cubby.
You get cold easy, that's
I do.
for sure.
I walk out, as soon as I walk out of this room, my nose starts to run like a 5-year-old waiting for a bus, waiting for at the bus stop. Because when you walk out of this room, it's no longer 30 degrees. My nose starts running. It's embarrassing. We got a boss in town. Okay, here we go with the stupid news. I'm pretty confident you won't hear another story quite like this for a while, if ever again. It is a story of death by way of an atomic wedgie. I'll be damned.
Who would have thunk it?
A dude killed his stepfather dead with a damned good old-fashioned junior high style atomic wedgie. Did any of you have to wear one of those around the halls at your middle school?
No. It got to the point, Nick, where I just gave myself one and saved the trouble for everyone else.
Were you one of the types that pre-cut your boxers so they would rip easier when you got the wedgie?
I tried everything, Dana. Everything. I tried to throw them off by wearing thong underwear, and I thought they're not going to mess with a guy in a thong, but they messed with the guy in a thong.
Look at this. What's happening to me right now, Josh? My nose is running.
Yeah. It's a lot of blood.
Dana mentioned earlier that yesterday, once we got off the air, we were trading stories of the old days in radio. Me and Cubby's old days here in the building. Speaking of the old days, and speaking of maybe getting picked on in junior high or high school, Josh, who was the best looking girl at your school when you were in high school?
Well, I'm kind of afraid to say.
I'm trying to set up, since we were talking about the old days, I'm trying to set up what I think may have been one of your finest lines in the history now of this program. Do you remember this?
I'll just throw out a name of the most beautiful woman I know right now. Erin.
Okay.
In case my wife's listening.
In case you're a lady. You don't remember this, do you?
No, I don't.
Many years ago on this program, I asked Josh, who was the best looking girl at your high school? And he said, Nick, it was kind of tough to tell from inside my locker.
That's right.
trying to see through the vents, trying to see through. It was tough to.
And I'm not the tallest guy, so I have to be on my tippy toes. Dana, when we were trading stories about old radio things, yesterday told us that he was threatened to be murdered by one of our former coworkers.
Yeah. We had a mutual coworker, and he once threatened to kill me.
Yeah.
And he also repeatedly telling him that, I own guns. I own guns.
He'd have to use one because that pretty boy, I bet, couldn't throw a punch. Honestly, there's no way.
If it was fist to fist, I would feel pretty confident. But if he had a gun on him and I didn't, I don't think I would fare too well.
And that's ridiculous, of course. But radio is so crawling with lunatic, douchebag children disguised in adult bodies. But what I enjoyed most is why he threatened to kill you with a gun, and that was because you dared to interrupt him while he was speaking.
Yeah, he was on the phone with a friend. We were 30 seconds away from going live on air, and I'm trying to get his attention, and he gets frustrated that I'm asking him to do the bare minimum of his job by being ready to go on the air in 10 seconds.
Right, and you should die for that.
I should die for that.
Right.
I had it coming.
And he got promptly fired right after that.
Sure did.
So you won that one.
And didn't kill me.
No, not yet. We've been, we've sent him your location many, many times. But I think he doesn't live in the state anymore.
Hey, just FYI, he moved. Here's his new address, just in case.
So here we go, back to this dude who killed his stepdad with an atomic wedgie. Way the F back on December 21st in the year 20 plus 13, a younger fella by the name of Brad Davis got into a scrap with his 58-year-old stepdad, a guy named Denver St. Clair. That's a beautiful name.
Picture that guy, that name showing up in a porno movie sometime.
Oh, that's a great porno name.
It's a very sexy name. Davis, this Brad Davis, picked up the older dude by his underwears. That's the wedgie part. And then he pulled the elastic band of his drawers all the way up over his head. And that's where that move is what defines it as atomic. And it killed the dude. And this Davis guy's been charged with murder. By God, he has.
You'd never imagine you could seriously injure or kill someone by that. That was like a rite of passage back in the day. For me, very frequently.
Right. Davis told the cops he never intended to kill his stepfather. He says he was trying to embarrass him. Now, the night in question played out like this. The two guys were spending the night in Denver St. Clair's trailer while Davis's mama was recovering from hip surgery at the local hospital. They intended to go visit her early the next morning, but they stayed up late talking. Eventually, St. Clair started up with the insults towards Davis's mother. I don't know. Too many beers, maybe. Your mother's kind of a bitch, really, honestly. I've enjoyed her being in the hospital. A little time to myself, for Christ's sake. So, eventually, things turned physical between the boys. Now, this Davis is how you say the name. He's a Marine Corps veteran, so he knows how to scrap. Davis said his stepfather got up and tried to punch him, but he outmaneuvered his stepdad and laid him out on the floor. And that's when Davis decided to add insult to injury. While St. Clair was still on the ground, Davis pulled up the old man's drawers, and then, like I was saying earlier, he kept her going and hauled the elastic band of the underwears all the way up over the top of the old man's head. He then took a picture of what he had done. A lot of laughs, right? But somehow the elastic band had made its way around St. Clair's neck, cutting off his wind, and it killed him dead.
It's terrible.
When the cops showed up, the stepdad was all the way dead, and Davis was taken into custody. So this whole schmear has gone to court. Long time ago, 2013. The prosecution believed that things were a little more mental than Davis is telling them. They say that some of the older man's wounds before the wedgie would have killed him anyway. They charged him with first-degree murder. The media labeled him the atomic wedgie killer. Prosecutors say that Davis doctored the crime scene before investigators got there, making it look like the wedgie killed his stepdad. Davis wanted to plead not guilty, said he was acting in self-defense, but the evidence against him was pretty strong. In the end, they threw the book smooth at him. 30 years in prison.
Oof.
Do you tell your cellmate? Or you just leave the details out, right? Yeah, killed the guy. You don't necessarily tell exactly how it happened. Or does that make you kind of a badass? Like, I could kill you with an atomic wedgie.
I can kill you with your own underwear.
And it was my dad.
Yeah.
Now,
Dana, I honestly, obviously, don't want anything to happen to you.
Yeah.
But if this guy does come back and kill you, I hope it's by atomic wedgie. I mean, if it had to happen.
I mean, if that means I would make the stupid news myself by dying by atomic wedgie, then I would be honored.
We could at least get like half a break out of that, if you don't mind.
Please, by all means.
Hangs him up, too, by the Donkey Kong machine.
That'd be perfect.
Just slowly spinning.
Now, I don't know what came of this, but the story wraps up by saying after this case was settled, the death by atomic wedgie case, someone called the National Institutes of Health conducted a study of wedgie-related trauma from all around the world.
Yeah, this was a massive study. Actually, Barsaw Jesus checked in on it, too. There's a podcast called Small Town Murder, and they talked about all the research. They talked about this case as well.
Well, do you have any idea what they discovered when they studied wedgie-related trauma from all around the world?
Well, they were trying to figure out, like, how does it kill a person? Can it kill a person? How often does somebody are you at risk of dying?
Well, to me, it sounds like maybe this case we just discussed, this Davis case, it sounds like it wasn't a wedgie-related death. The dude tried to make it look like it was. I don't know.
I don't think my current choice of undergarment would stretch that far. I mean, there's one way to find out, I guess. But
we'll do it when the big boss shows up later. We'll be giving you an atomic wedgie.
What if he does it? I mean, you guys, it's a weird thing. You've seen it. people touch me constantly.
It is weird.
Yes.
And so maybe he'll just come over, put his hand on my shoulder, and give me an atomic wedgie.
I wonder who's wearing the most possibly lethal pair of drawers right now, because underwears have become so much more gentle. Like you said, you don't know if the elastic could. Well, how did you say it again? You don't know if the elastic of the drawers you're wearing could stretch the way they used to. Underwear's elastic used to be a lot more tough.
Oh, yeah.
Now this stuff will just pop, and that'll be the end of it.
And I don't wear tighty whities, so.
No, remember when you were a kid and you wore tighty whities?
Oh, yeah.
It would leave marks on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was tough
Those
stuff.
were stretchy.
It was like rubber bands.
Yep.
I remember being furious with my parents when I found out at school that tighty whities weren't cool. And I remember demanding, you got to get me boxer shorts. Come on, I'm getting crap for this.
Yeah, tighty
But
whities.
I like to wear big ones.
Yeah, you wear big giant boxers.
Yeah, I like to wear kind of baggy ones. And this is not a penis joke. It's just I'm more comfortable.
For the millionth time, I don't know how you do it. I would go bananas if I had
I've got tree trunk legs.
Massive pair of boxers, just kind of. I hated boxers. I hated them.
I love them.
Crawling up my back, tangling around your dong. They're the worst. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, that has happened where I've gotten the, pardon the cable television language, but my nuts tangled up in them.
Oh, that can't be fun.
No, it's not.
No.
It is for other people, but not for myself.
About 1,000 people lost electricity out of nowheres in Queensland, Australia. When crews showed up to see what caused the outage, they came to the conclusion that somebody narrowly avoided a spectacular death. Crews discovered a scorched advertising sign and a staple gun at the scene, leading them to believe that someone attempted to put up the sign by stapling it to an 11,000-volt cable attached to a power pole.
Ooh. Ouch.
The local electric company called it, quote, mind-blowing that they didn't find a dead carcass laid out at the scene. Someone from the electric company also said, we have no idea what state the person who tried to post the sign was in because they fled the scene, but their actions could have been fatal or at least led to severe burns. Attaching signs to power poles is illegal over there in Australia. It can land you a fine of more than $6,000. For whatever reason, there's been an increase in the number of advertising signs being illegally tacked up on power poles across that area.
What are the rules here? I mean, you see it.
You do.
Yeah, I see it all the time, like with my lost cat.
Yeah, or piano lessons.
Yep.
The closest I've ever seen, and this is not even close, but I was helping a buddy put up some Christmas lights, and he was using a staple gun, and he got it right on the wire, and all the lights went off. It was a moment.
Oh, that sucks.
That really sucked.
Was
we had to start all
super
over.
Far along? Too?
Oh yeah, we were almost done.
Oh,
we were
no.
on the last section.
I'd give up. I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, he didn't do it the next year.
Yeah, I'd be like, it's just not meant to be.
Here's the local electric company guy coming off again. He says, what the people who put up these signs don't appreciate is that our crews often have to climb these poles at night and during severe weather and pouring rain with low visibility. The nails, screws, and the signs themselves can easily rip into our crews' protective clothing and skin,
Oh, no good.
putting them in a very dangerous situation. And, and on top of that, showing respect and courtesy to the folks who climb up and down these poles all damn day. It sounds like when you post a sign on a power pole for your lawn mowing service or whatever it is, you're risking having an electric current blow both of your arms and legs off for you.
I never knew that.
Yeah, news to me as well.
I never play around with electricity. It scares the hell out of me. I took an electric shock once when I was a kid from a garbage light switch that my absentee parents refused to fix, and it scared the hell out of me. I know, Josh, you lit up like a pinball machine
A few
one night,
times.
didn't you?
Yeah, and it was so stupid. One was I was changing out switches in a bank of switches, right? And so I know electricians are going to make fun of me, but I turned the power off.
You soft-ass amateur.
Yeah, I know. I'm a wimp. And what I didn't realize is, because I'm stupid, is that they could have been on different circuits, which they were. So the first two went fine. The third one, I grab it, and I forgot what day it was afterwards.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
I don't like to mess with it either.
No?
Did you guys ever have those people come to your school when you were younger and like demonstrate why you should stay away from like power lines and all that?
No.
Yeah, we had that.
They came in elementary school and they did like a little demonstration and like started like tiny little fires and stuff and really drilled in your head how you can just like basically implode from some of this stuff. And
That's a process that takes a lot of research, Ashley. What they did was your grade school came up with some terribly low grades, and they said, these are the kids that might end up electrocuting themselves. Let's send some experts over to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
I
didn't
get what
send
you're
the
saying.
power company to talk to the smart kids.
hey, it scarred. It worked though. Like,
Scared ya?
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, that stuff scares me too.
I thought I requested people not make fun of me for turning off the power when I was working on electrical, but the people have ignored that, and I'm getting crap for it. I knew that was going to happen. I did have an electrician once tell me, if you ever hire an electrician and they turn the power off when they're changing a switch or something like that, you got the wrong guy.
Oh.
I didn't know that was a thing. I have friends who are electricians, and they're very good at it, and they're very helpful, and I appreciate it every time they come over. I had one come over, just a week ago or so to do something silly for me that I'm way too afraid to mess with. But the first time, one of my electrician friends came over, and I said, yeah, it's that switch over there, and then that thing's not running right. They walked over with their tools, and I said, I didn't turn the power off yet. And they said, yeah, it's fine. I didn't know you could dangle with you know what I'm saying? I thought for sure I was about to kill them.
Yeah,
they don't need the power off. They've got the knowledge and the tools to handle that. All right. If any of you are silly enough to want to get on one of those airplanes and go that away to visit Paris, stupid France, here's one way to experience Paris, I guess. 2 drunk American tourists were found sleeping inside the Eiffel Tower Monday after they had a few too many Steveweisers.
I have no interest whatsoever.
Oh.
I mean, no disrespect to the people of Paris, but do you guys have any interest in going? I know it's a tourist hotspot, but...
Josh, I don't have any
Paris.
interest in going to Park Center, let alone Paris. You know what I mean? I don't have any interest in going across town, let alone France.
I'd love to go to Paris.
I'm in the same boat. You would?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's on my list.
You know how I'm getting here, Nick? So I my lease is almost up on my vehicle, so I've just kind of been looking around. And when you go on some of those websites, you can limit the radius of what you're willing to travel to find a vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's down to like 10 miles.
Oh, yeah.
I started out like, I'm going to put this as big as possible. I want to find the right vehicle. And now I don't want to go anywhere. But I wonder on my deathbed if I'm going to regret some of that. Probably not.
Just looking in your zip code. All right, Josh, the puns. You know how I struggle with the puns.
I think you secretly like them.
You're wrong. But you got this story from a website that always includes a pun for every damn story.
They do, and it doesn't matter how serious the story.
So here it is. I'm too tired to fight. Here's the pun. I'll give you the headline again and then the pun. 2 drunk American tourists were found sleeping inside the Eiffel Tower Monday after they had few too many Steveweisers. Holy crepe. Did I say that right?
They've done better.
That was
now
still
they're fine
nice.
as work.
Security guards were making the rounds early Monday morning when they found the 2 tourists sound asleep. They woke them up, threw them off the side. No, they didn't kill them. Eiffel Tower, the Eiffel Tower, whatever you call it, it's like a fun park. There's hours that this wacky tower is open and hours where it's closed. These 2 characters were sneaking around, I guess, after hours. And they were found in an area that anytime is normally closed to the public. They had snuck themselves into some... The French cops said they appeared to get stuck because of how drunk they were. And like I said, they were in a spot where they couldn't just walk down a flight of steps to get out of there. Firefighters, including a special unit for recovering people from dangerous heights, were sent in to repel these effing idiots back down to ground level. So now they're in trouble with the local law.
I'm confused. So, you've never been to France, Nick?
Never been, no.
But how come you've told me you've seen many, many Eiffel Towers in your day? I don't get it.
I will explain.
You will explain.
Yes, I will
Photographic evidence, perhaps?
Maybe my old phone. Paris, France. Stupid.
I've heard
AC/DC recorded a record there, I think, in 1979. I think the If You Want Blood, You Got It record, the live record, I believe it was recorded in Paris.
Why Paris? Do you know? I mean, was there
know.
like a famous rock studio there?
Don't
or
know.
something?
You'd have to ask Angus.
He doesn't return my calls. Let me ask you something now.
Yes.
Have you guys heard this? And maybe somebody who's been there can tell us. I've heard the Eiffel Tower is one of those places where you go and it's a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because of what you're anticipating.
Yeah.
What about the Statue of Liberty? Is that pretty sweet?
Never saw it.
Never been up close to it. Just seen it from the shore.
I'd love to see it.
I have heard that there's times though where if you go see the Eiffel Tower, it's like breathtaking because sometimes they will light it up where it's like sparkly and glittering.
Oh my
instead.
God, Christmas lights.
So
Like you've never seen that before.
But yeah, for the people that I've talked to are like, yeah, we went and saw the Eiffel Tower and we're like, hey, look at that. There's the Eiffel Tower. Let's move on with our lives.
I've heard the same thing about Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, same here.
I really want to go see Mount Rushmore.
Actually, Josh, I knew somebody in my life that saw Mount Rushmore once, and it became like his whole person. He loved Mount Rushmore.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Always wanted to go back and see it again.
Dana, Wapple, and I all agreed that we walked up expecting to have our minds blown, and we kind of went, oh. Okay.
Yeah, so you can see it. You're standing there. You can see it. Then you're allowed to go walk up, the hill. And my wife at the time, she was like, "Well, let's go walk up." I'm like, I feel like I'm content. I feel like I'm good.
You've seen it?
I got it.
It's a marvel, Josh. I think it's really cool.
I walked up as close as you can get. I wanted to get a good look, and it was maybe it's my problem, but I just thought, that's it.
I pictured just having some Lee Greenwood stuck in my head, God bless the USA as I'm looking at this thing, tears in my eyes. But you're saying it's not like that.
It is very patriotic. Like they have they have a bunch of flags around. It's nice. I liked it.
All right, yeah. I mean, it underwhelmed the living hell out of me.
Yeah, I was more pumped about the ice cream I was going to get at the ice cream shop.
Yes, They got a gift shop. You can get a cone. That's what I got too. And that was a part of that. Like that was my lasting memory of Mount Rushmore was the ice cream cone.
They do really sweet helicopter rides around Mount Rushmore though.
What
Josh?
about the Grand Canyon? Who's been to the Grand Canyon?
Never.
And go ahead with that.
It's appropriately titled. It is grand. It is a canyon, and I loved it.
You did?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Did you do the donkey rides?
No.
I'll show you a damn donkey ride.
No.
You want to go on a donkey ride, Wapple?
No, and
you don't have to go to Wyoming or wherever the Grand Canyon is.
And they call it a show. It's not a ride.
I don't want to see the donkey show either.
Where the hell is the Grand Canyon?
We were in Vegas, so we kind of flew over.
Where the hell is it?
Well, it's in Nevada and the other place.
New Mexico, maybe?
New Mexico. Or something.
It just dawned on me that I had no idea where it is.
I'm right, though. They have you can ride.
Yeah,
red
no, you do.
donkeys,
I've
go
heard
down.
that.
Well, yeah, I've seen the Brady Bunch episode. Yeah.
There was I'm glad we did it. It wasn't cheap, but I'm glad we did it. It was my honeymoon. My wife and I went to Vegas, and so we decided we were going to splurge on this helicopter ride, and we went over the Hoover Dam, we went over the Grand Canyon, stuff like that, and there was like a solitary goat halfway down the canyon, just kind of sitting there like a picture. It was just so picturesque. I thought it was beautiful.
You thought maybe you had to rescue him, but all the while he knows what he's doing.
No, he was fine.
Social Anxiety Jesus says Mount Rushmore is badass for 5 minutes. And I agree with that. I agree with that. After about 5 minutes, I was ready to go.
Doesn't the Grand Canyon have that new thing where it's like a walking bridge and you can kind of walk out on this clear bridge?
Well, I don't know.
What? No way.
Yeah. So for us, this was 2008. I don't know if it was there or not.
Yeah, I thought they have something like that, and they have one on the Seattle Needle too, or something.
Oh, that looks scary, but super cool.
Right. Also, turns out the Grand Canyon's in Arizona, so we were both wrong.
Close enough.
We were in Nevada. It's right there, in between.
It's on the border.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what other state it was.
I don't care.
Okay, all right, moving
on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I said.
Yeah, a few people are texting in on that. They did a similar helicopter ride and loved it. It was awesome.
Well, we have people calling in now. texted in saying it's in Utah. I don't care. I'm never going there.
I just like this text from a 507 area code. Grand Canyon is in Arizona, you effing b-holes.
F you.
Hey, we just got done saying we don't leave the zip code.
You're the b-hole.
I can tell. I definitely left from a Vegas airport, so it's around there.
All right, I got time for one more, Josh?
Why not? Yeah, let's go for it.
I don't know how cops do it day to day. I mean, there's the obvious risk of horrible violence breaking out. That goes without saying. But what I'm referring to is the incidents where it's very likely that nobody's going to get hurt. But those days when cops are forced to deal with an out-of-control, sweaty, effing, filthy, naked guy. There's video going around of what I'm referring to. Of course, it's Florida. Where's that exactly?
Florida?
Yeah.
West Coast, in between Arizona and Nevada.
Cops from a place called the Volusia County Sheriff's Office responded to a house. And when they got there, there's a dude, D swinging. He's standing in his backyard and he's hosing himself off with the garden hose. D and Balls guy says that if the cops don't get off his property, he's going to start spraying them with the water hose. And then he runs off, and then he jumps in a lake, and then he's swimming around, and the cops have to get in a boat. And D and Balls is picking up handfuls of weeds from the lake and throwing it at the cops. And then the cops have to get in the water to finally put this effing dude in a headlock and drag him to jail, and now he's wet and naked.
Gosh,
I wonder what it is about clothing. When it's on, you're a little less nutty than when it's off. It seems like as soon as the clothes comes off for one of these people, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yep.
I don't know. Again, I'd hand in my badge as soon as I saw my first filthy naked person standing there waiting for me to apprehend them. I'd go back working for my brother-in-law at the effing Chrysler plant. Is that video up on our website? Because it's kind of funny.
No, I didn't get that one.
It's frustrating, but kind of funny. They gotta get in a boat.
Yeah,
Call the
that
boat.
is frustrating.
Guys got to trailer a boat over the lake. They back her. The launch is busy. There's other boats coming. They put the boat in the water. Go find the guy. Guy's wading around, picking up handfuls of weeds, throwing them at the cops. It's hotter than hell. The cops are wearing all their gear. I just don't know how you do that. I would say I quit on the friggin' spot. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not doing all of that.
No, they're sweating their asses off.
He'll tire himself out.
Naked junkie around.
An alligator will get him. Or
that's what I was thinking in the video. Maybe an alligator was going to bite him. Then the cops can just go home. All right, fair enough.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Cranks that one to center. DR Meadows hardly has to move. In fact, he backflips and makes the catch. Stupendous play from the doctor. That is what you typically see for the trick play for the doctor there in center field. And DR Meadows timing that ball up perfectly and making a beautiful backflip catch.
Settle down, for God's sake.
He is amped.
That was a pretty sweet play.
That was pretty sweet.
Savannah Bananas Minor League Baseball Club. They keep cranking out the cute routines and comedy bits. The latest is an outfielder by the name of DR Meadows. He had a pop fly heading his way, and he caught it in center field, and he did a standing backflip.
I think it's Dr. Meadows. That's his nickname.
Dr. Meadows.
Dr. Meadows.
He did a backflip when he caught the baseball.
It was awesome. I guess he's kind of known for that.
I'm not known for that.
No, you're not.
No, I can't do any kind of a front flip, back flip.
I wish I could. That always looks cool in like karate movies and stuff.
Oh, man.
4 or 5 in a row.
My boyfriend can do that kind of stuff.
He can do what kind of stuff?
Like the backflips and like handspring stuff. I don't really know. He used to dance, so do that kind of stuff.
He used to dance.
Yeah, from like 4 years old to like 17, I believe it was.
Competitively?
Yep.
Like what kind of dance?
Yeah. Like everything. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I know.
I gotta ask him about. Now I'm gonna.
It's super cool.
I hope you're not talking trash. Number one, Josh has a rule around here about talking trash. Number two, Next time I see him, I'm going to challenge him to do a backflip or something, and he better not say, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, no. He can do stuff.
All right.
Yeah, it's cool.
Chicks do stuff. Usually shady stuff. You know how we were talking about how a lot of us have been underwhelmed by what are supposedly, what's the term?
Some of the wonders of the world.
Yes, like your Grand
Tourist
Canyons,
destinations.
wherever that is, tourist destination, your Mount Rushmore. We had a guy text in and say, Mount Rushmore is awesome for 5 minutes. Had a guy text in, people are texting in on these wonders of the world that maybe they were underwhelmed by, maybe they were not. Here's a listener that says, Niagara Falls. Now that's awesome for 3 minutes. But I love this one. Our listening audience has the best friggin' sense of humor. Another listener texted in and said, don't even get me started on that friggin' Mona Lisa.
Oh, yeah, I heard that's not cool either.
Oh, the friggin' Mona Lisa.
I heard it's really small.
Really?
That's what
I
she
always
said.
expected it to be like a very large painting.
No, I guess it's really tiny.
Oh, that's kind of a letdown. All right.
The Twins' Matt Wallner from Wayzata went to Wayzata High School. He hit a very exciting first career grand slam last night at Target Field. Man, that was a dong. Did you see the dong?
That was quite the dong.
All the way from Wayzata, Matt Wallner makes it into the big leagues, and last night he hits his very first grand slam. Upper tank and everything, and that was all part of a 5-run sixth inning. The Twins snatched a 5-3 win against the Detroit Tigers. Oh, before the sixth inning, the Twins, they hadn't done jack squat. It was kind of looking like maybe the Tigers were going to pull another one out from under us, but no. That was great. Good for that kid. Up next, a day game, noon skis. It'll be televised on Bally Sports. Kente Maeda will start for the 20s. What's the guys' names again? Randy Shaver and Brad Ruiter will be hanging out with us in a half hour. That's your Josh's News is coming up next.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey Minnesota, CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace or AC is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
The Jets are bracing themselves into doing Hard Knocks this year.
Bracing themselves. Look, coaches want to control the controllables. They don't want to have a camera crew in the building. You know, I know that they want to lie low. This is what happens when you go and swing for the fences and get Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me?
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
The smoke started pouring in, the smoke alarms and everything went off, so we couldn't get downstairs to either the front or back door exit, so we barricaded ourselves in the kids' rooms.
Body cam video from a Carver County deputy shows the response to a house fire in Waconia last Wednesday, where multiple people were trapped. Video showed the deputy running around the house, catching two kids dropped from a second-story window. Mom and dad were hurt when they jumped to escape the fire, but thankfully their injuries are not life-threatening.
I'm holding a small child and said, throw me the child and you guys are going to have to jump. And he ended up throwing down two children to me and got them out of there. And then the two other adults were able to jump out.
It was a second-story drop. It was painful, but we're alive.
The kids are only 1 and 3 years old. They spent the day at the ICU, but they're expected to be okay.
I mean, the whole town of Waconia, you know, we just cannot say thank you enough. They've stepped up for us. We're incredibly thankful to them. They saved their lives.
The deputy was treated for minor injuries at an area hospital, but released that same morning.
How about that, Cubby?
Yeah, what an awesome story.
That's right. We got to work on your pass catching skills.
I can catch a pass. I just can't throw a pass.
You can't throw.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at catching. It's the throwing that I have trouble with.
Okay.
But I've never caught a toddler. Yeah, is there a sport where I could do something like that to practice or a facility?
The fact that you're just a dad usually helps. Like, dads just have that ability in them already.
My dad wouldn't have made the effort, but we don't have to go into that right now. A South Florida man's accused of throwing lit fireworks at a mobile home and his neighbors. Detectives responded to a mobile home park last Wednesday night where they said the residence was completely destroyed by fire.
It's very hard to us because my mom, she worked hard for that trailer. And right now, she don't have where to go. It's like you work for nothing, you know? It's very hard to see all that burn.
At the time, 6 people in the home were sleeping and then woke up when they smelled smoke. One of the victims reportedly told detectives when he woke up from the fire and attempted to escape, 44-year-old Manuel Perez threw several lit fireworks at him. Those fireworks exploded and burned the victim's back, later hospitalizing him.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Apparently, he was mad because there's not a lot of details, but apparently the homeowner didn't want him on their property anymore. They didn't say why, but I think they were onto something by asking him not to be around. Man, those poor folks, they lost everything.
Ah, God.
A man who illegally parked in a handicapped parking spot pleaded guilty to beating a man who confronted him for it.
Oh, God, no.
The nerve of that gentleman.
Gosh.
The victim was with his girlfriend who suffers from multiple sclerosis when they went to a Walgreens in Brooklyn Center. There, the victim saw the 28-year-old suspect's vehicle parked in a handicapped spot without a sticker. The 2 men started arguing before the suspect got a tire iron from his vehicle and struck the other man with it. The criminal complaint states he then assumed a boxing stance and began striking the victim with a closed fist multiple times, knocking him to the ground, where the suspect courageously, I might add, proceeded to kick and stomp him while on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
When police found him later that evening, they say he was extremely intoxicated. His sentencing date is set for October 25th.
What are we doing?
My uncle, he's a quadriplegic, and he's seen that so many times, people parking in handicapped spots. And there was one time he had enough. So he yelled at this guy as the guy was sitting in his car saying, "Get out of there. F you, man. You can't be parking there." And the guy didn't say a word. He got out and he had prosthetic legs.
Oh, no.
My uncle said he felt like 3 inches tall.
You son of a bitch.
And the one time he said something.
That's tough.
That's a badass move to not say anything, too, and just step out.
Oh, yeah, because he knew. I'm going to win this thing eventually. I'll just let him.
Get your able-bodied ass out of that car right now.
A woman was arrested last week, Wednesday specifically, after using a machete to hold some Florida bus passengers hostage. Police responded to a DeLand intermodal transit facility about 4 p.m. after receiving reports 35-year-old Saisha Fletcher was refusing to let anyone off the bus, threatening them with a machete. She told officers she'd been trying to get her wallet back from someone. After speaking with witnesses, police learned that Fletcher had gone up to a couple on the bus, accusing them of stealing her wallet and pulling out the machete then. According to investigators, she dropped it after being challenged by police, though they did find a pocket knife in her bra. Still enraged after her arrest, officers say while on the way to the police department, she stated she would find the man that she threatened and cut off his hands.
Oh, my God.
She said, "As soon as I bond out of jail, I will cut off his hands."
I'm coming for those hands.
A drunken Florida man was arrested for pistol whipping and shooting his best friend in both legs. The suspect, 38-year-old Thomas Arney, was still on the scene when police arrived, 4 a.m. on Friday. He told the officers the incident started with a drunken argument. According to his story, he and his friend had been drinking outside all night, then got into an argument which escalated. The suspect told investigators his friend had broken the windows of nearby cars before approaching him aggressively. A witness said Arney shot the victim once in each leg before eventually hitting him in the head with the weapon. Being a better friend to Arney than he deserves, the victim didn't comply with the investigation, but a witness claimed the victim was not threatening Arney before that battery. Arney just went off.
It's not a very best friend thing to do.
Yeah, I've never had a best friend. Well, I guess one of my best friends stabbed me in the hand with a pencil for comedy purposes, he thought. That's as close as I can come to something like that.
I bet it was pretty funny.
I know a set of best friends who, for about 5 years straight, they fought like hell. They would get drunk and just beat each other into next week. They're still tight. They're still tight after all these years. But it was an interesting dynamic.
A shirtless Luis Fernando Hernandez Larragara made it abundantly clear to McDonald's employees he was not loving it. The 26-year-old Florida man placed an order at the fast food establishment Thursday, then resorted to violence when employees refused to give him a refund or his food back. The Lee County Sheriff's Office said that his first mistake was stepping behind the restaurant counter to demand his money back.
I want my money or my food. I need my money. Give me my money. Give my money.
He wanted his money, if it wasn't clear.
Is that what he was? Okay.
When employees ordered him to exit the store, he did just that, but not before punching a cash register, on his way out. Outside, he picked up a handful of rocks and headed back into the store, throwing them at the counter, the sheriff's office said. Then he went back for a second and a third handful of rocks before an employee approached him. Security camera video shows him swinging at one employee, but he missed moments before he took a right hook to the face himself. He was arrested for disorderly intoxication and criminal mischief for shattering the McDonald's window. He punched a cash register.
Ow.
And kept swinging and missed, and then he got punched in the face. He sucks. A Blaine man's charged with he allegedly sucks. A Blaine man is charged with interfering with privacy after allegedly installing a camera aimed at his neighbor's bedroom. Police were called just before noon, July 8th, after a caller told officials he was inside his home when he observed his 62-year-old neighbor walk up to the fence, splitting their property, and put something on it. The criminal complaint states the caller went outside and picked up the object, which was a camera that was on and recording. He then went back to his home and watched the recording with a woman who lives there as well. The video showed a close-up of their bedroom window with the caller moving around inside. The victims told officers they went over to their neighbors to confront him, at which point he immediately started crying and repeating, "I'm so sorry."
He's crying?
He was crying. He was upset that his video was gone. He's scheduled to make his first court appearance next month. A man is accused of several crimes in hotels across the street from each other in Nashville, including showering in an unsuspecting woman's room.
That's not right.
Police arrived at the Grand Hyatt Hotel after receiving reports of someone stealing and trespassing on the property last Monday night. That's where they found hotel security detaining 62-year-old Timothy McNichols, caught on camera stealing a hotel employee's scooter. Officers recognized him as a suspect accused of starting fires earlier in the day at the Holiday Inn Express across the street. The arrest report said a manager found him lighting a small fire in a stairwell, pulling 3 fire alarms on several floors, breaking a tamper switch on the wall, and causing burn marks across the property. While he was being detained, officers were flagged down by a guest at the Holiday Inn who said McNichols had broken into her hotel room, eaten her food, and damaged some of her property. The guest told officers she returned to her hotel room earlier to find the door was ajar and someone was using the shower with their boots on. Rude. Officers found McNichols' wallet, license, shirt, and shoes in the guest's hotel room. They discovered he gained entry to the room using a stolen janitor's key from the hotel.
Well, ain't that something?
A security camera captured a dog chasing a mountain lion through the backyard of a California home Friday. Sandy Ali said she had lived in the area for years, but had never seen a big cat near her home. She said she was surprised when a friend mentioned that 2 animals were running through the yard.
I was having a Bible study in our rec room. My friend looked out and said, "Oh, your dogs are playing." And I said, "I only have 1 dog."
Yeah, the other dog was not a dog. It was a friggin' mountain lion. She said she called 911 and first responders came out and attempted to trap the cougar in order to relocate it, but those efforts were unsuccessful, and the big cat leapt away into a nearby field after they tried to tranquilize it before relocation. According to the sheriff's office, the big cat is not aggressive and there was no threat to the public, but they did issue a warning alerting residents about the presence of the mountain lion in the area. Depp versus Heard debuts today on Netflix, showing both testimonies side by side for the first time. The new Netflix special explores the trial that set Hollywood ablaze and the online fallout that ensued. Did she really poop in Johnny Depp's bed?
I think so.
I don't know. Did you guys get wrapped up in this? I didn't follow this at all.
I tried to stay away from it.
The poop thing, of course, piqued my interest. That his beautiful wife might have took a spite poop in his bed, but I had heard that wasn't necessarily true. I wonder if that's true or not.
Do we have to watch this documentary, or would you tell me what happened in the end? How did it turn out?
I thought that Depp won, but I did not pay it. It's kind of like after the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I stopped paying attention.
Yeah, fair enough.
I actively went out of my way to not learn anything about what was happening there.
I'd like to know what's happening in here. Why do you have a fly swatter, Dana?
I don't know. It was sitting in my spot when I got in here today. It's just a random fly swatter on my table.
You're holding a fly swatter.
I am.
He's prepared.
You never know. Wapple gets a little handsy sometimes.
I encourage it. Also on Netflix, the series premiere of The Chosen One. A 12-year-old boy survives a freak accident and discovers he has Jesus-like powers. And one more religious-themed Fright Fest makes its Netflix streaming debut today, The Pope's Exorcist. Finally on ABC, the second season finale of The Wonder Years. The sequel to last year's Brotherhood Border Bash will take place this October between the 19th and 21st at St. Croix Casino, Turtle Lake. Thursday night in Turtle Lake Sportsbook, The Book. We'll all hang out for a little happy hour type deal. Friday morning, Ashley, Wapple, and Dana only will be broadcasting live.
Whatever.
Friday afternoon, Nick and I host our inaugural hot tub potluck where anyone interested can get in a jacuzzi with us one at a time for bubbles, bruschetta, and bonding. Then Friday night, we hang out at The Book again. Thank you to our sponsors, MinnesotaFatLoss.com and Stittsworth Meats. Special room rates courtesy of our friends at St. Croix Casino. Book your trip now at 93x.com. Michael Scott on The Office, Steve Carell, 61. Madonna, 65. Her new face, 1.5.
Madonna.
And writer and director of Avatar, Titanic, and Terminator, James Cameron, 69 today. Shout out to Houston podcaster Jesus. It's his Friday. He's leaving Texas to spend a week up here in Minnesota and wants a shout out to Foghorn Third Leghorn Jesus. Best of luck to Tree Master Jesus, about to find out whether or not he'll be getting a new job he's hoping to get. And good luck to the original handyman Jesus having surgery today from Vikings fan Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
Got a fat ass and a bad attitude.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Juan Soto grounds one off of Juan Soto, and he goes down hard. That is not where you want it. Oh, oops. One replay, please. One and done. If I may steal one of your lines, that'll hurt your feelings. That will hurt your feelings.
Nuts.
These nuts!
Well, F me running. It's Randy Shaver and Brad Ruiter. The intro there, gentlemen, Juan Soto of the San Diego Padres grounded a baseball straight into his own penis.
That looked terrible.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's up on 93x.com.
Check it out on our website. Thank you, Ashley. A little foul chop at the plate.
Do we
baseball.
assume he was wearing a cup?
I don't know.
We never assume anymore that these guys are wearing cups.
I mean, you could hear him in pain, this part. Yeah.
Was that Juan Soto?
I thought it was.
I don't think he was wearing a cup.
The baseball bounced straight up, and it just pummeled Soto's sensitive and vulnerable tip.
Some of those guys do wear and some of those guys don't. I think it just depends.
Yeah, Randy Shaver, we've had this conversation up and down. I never assume that athletes these days are wearing cups anymore because a lot of them talk about how it's not comfortable, it limits their this and that. I don't know. But you heard, for once we can talk about this Kevin Brown announcer from the Baltimore Orioles without there being a long, controversial story connected to it. That's Kevin Brown there on the call.
Right.
And he says, that's not where you want it.
No.
Man. Got smoked. Well, how's it going, boys?
Good.
Pretty good.
How's your dog, Brad?
He's hanging in there. We got a little bit of bad news when he went in because he'd been gimping on the other leg too, and they did X-rays, and he's got to have the other leg done.
Wait a minute.
No, baby.
We need an update here because folks might not know what we're talking about. The other day, what day is it today?
So it's Wednesday today. So Monday he went in for ACL surgery. The surgery went fine, but he had been gimping on the other leg for the last week or so, and it turned out he'd been putting so much pressure on the good leg that he tore that one.
A double ACL tear on Brad's dog.
But so he just got the one done. You can't do them both at the same time, so we got to go back in 3 months when this one's healed and get the other one done.
I'll be damned. There goes another $5,000.
Yeah. 2, but close enough. Who's counting?
my gosh.
I mean, maybe he'll just cross that rainbow bridge before the second one has to be.
Hey.
I hope not.
What the hell?
But we're hanging. It's fine.
Well, we hope your puppy's doing all right.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a deal. I'd like to ask you fellas something. We were having a conversation earlier. We were talking about how we've come away underwhelmed by visits to big old fancy national monuments, so-called wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls, the Mount Rushmore. Now here you guys are, well-traveled, the both of you. Have you had the same experience with a city or a tourist attraction where you thought, oh boy, we're going to the this or that, and then you came away underwhelmed?
Absolutely. Grand Canyon's the perfect example.
Grand Canyon.
I liked the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
You didn't like
too.
it?
I mean, I think I would like it more if I would have scheduled a tour into the canyon.
Like the
where you
Brady's
actually
did.
When you actually spend time.
Yeah.
So
but
we
it was
took a
one-
helicopter ride over it. Is that what you did?
That's pretty nice, Josh.
No, we did not. We just went to I think it's the western side, whatever it is, by Flagstaff.
Okay.
And you get out of the car, you get excited, you get up to the thing, and it's kind of like Chevy Chase. You kind of stand there with your hands on your hip and go, okay, and then you're back in the car and you're gone.
Yeah.
So it was that was my reaction to the Grand Canyon.
What about you, Brad Ruiter?
I'm
It doesn't
trying.
have to. It could be just a city or something too, just in case you guys want to think a little more about it.
Yeah, I'll think a little bit more. I mean, I've been to a lot of cities, obviously, with my travels and sports, and I'm trying to think of if there was a time where I went to a tourist place while I was traveling. I can't. I'll think of something.
I thought of another one.
Go ahead.
Hollywood. I didn't like that at all.
I've heard it's very dirty.
It's just dirty concrete.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all it is. And you know where all the celebrities have their stars and stuff? Underwhelming.
Underwhelming.
Very underwhelming.
What do they call that? The Walk of Fame or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw a post about that the other day, and someone was like, yeah, I always expected it to be kind of like a roped-off type of experience when you go to the Hall of Fame or the Walk of Fame or whatever it is, and they said that is the complete opposite.
I hear it's not the nicest stretch of town when you're walking.
We tried to go there once, but there was like a massive drive-by shooting, so we had to go back the next day.
Oh.
Now, do you remember seeing any stars on the Walk of Fame that you remember? Like, oh, wow, there's Sam.
Who did we see? Was it Harrison
Soupy
Ford?
Sales.
I can't remember. There was
Soupy Sales.
Yeah, Soupy Sales. He's got two.
Sales. Oh my God!
You saw Harrison Ford?
I can't remember exactly. This was so long ago.
That's a long time ago.
But what I remember specifically is walking down going, never heard of that person, never heard of that person, never heard of that person. There were so many on there I'd never heard of ever.
Somebody looked this up. Now, when I was a kid, I thought, well, Soupy Sales is getting honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He must have been voted in. And I understand, someone looked this up. I understand there is still some kind of wacky entertainment council that will vote you in, but also you have to pay.
Yeah,
that's right.
Not that most of these folks need to worry about money, but you need to pay an exorbitant amount. So maybe if you're not an entertainer and you just have a pile of money, I think you can. You
can get it. That's how you get it.
Yeah,
it's like you're campaigning.
I don't know the exact recipe. Maybe someone.
You're
can
right.
Find
That's
that.
disappointing.
75,000.
So does there also have to be some kind of a vote, though? I thought I read Summers.
Not sure about the vote part, but there's a $75,000 sponsorship fee upon selection. The fee is used to pay for the creation, installation of the star, as well as maintenance of the Walk of Fame in general.
Maintenance.
Cardiac Warrior Sheeza said Pompeii, underwhelming.
Pompeii?
I always thought that'd be kind of nice.
That's where the big volcano happened.
That's right.
Yep.
Wow.
I'd say, I thought of a place, Times Square.
Yeah?
For me. I mean, the first time I saw that, because you always see it on TV, you see the ball drop, when you're a kid, you think it's like this great, extravagant place, and then you go down there for the first time, and you're just like, okay, I'm just kind of holding my wallet here, making sure I don't get mugged.
The last time I was in Times Square was at night. It's all lit up. I'm walking back to my hotel after dinner with some friends, and this guy, he looks at me and goes, dude, that's an awesome shirt you got on. And I'm like, oh, that was nice of this guy. Just mention I have a nice shirt. And then he kind of leans a little closer. He goes, what kind of drugs do you need, man? I got anything you need. What do you need? I'm like, oh. He didn't like my shirt. He just wanted to sell me drugs.
He complimented you. He got your attention. I've never been to New York, but I'd love to see the 9/11 memorial.
It's very cool. That is very powerful.
And the Statue of Liberty.
That is on the opposite end of what we're talking about. So
Yeah, there's the good and the bad. Here's East Winstead Jesus. Man, if he says that a town sucks, he knows what he's talking about. He says San Francisco sucks, the wharf stinks, and the roads are a pain in the ass. If you're from Winstead, east, west, north, or south, and you got something negative to say about a town, I'd listen to that individual. Because everyone knows Winstead is a nightmare.
Oh, I have one. Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, I always thought that I've heard the stories I've heard about that place. I thought it was going to be cool and fun and like nice and sunny and beautiful, and it was the complete opposite.
Oh. You know, I got a Florida one too. I've been to Disney World. That was great. Orlando, terrible.
Oh, Orlando sucks.
Oh yeah, I've heard horror stories about Orlando.
Orlando's one of the worst cities I've ever been to. Now that brings something up, Ashley. I had forgotten that I spent about an hour in Miami many years ago. I got off one of those airplanes, and we landed in Miami, and then we were getting in a damn limousine.
Oh, nice.
Some of you might not understand, but there was a time when I was, affiliated with some high rollers, and we took a limousine from Miami. And I don't remember where we went, somewhere else in Florida. But I had gone the entire plane ride without a chew, without any tobacco. And as soon as we got in our vehicle, I'm bugging the driver about, hey, when we get a chance, we need to stop at a gas station. And I'm not paying attention. It's late at night. I'm tired, probably 3/4 drunk, and I just need some Kodiak or whatever I was on at the time. We pulled into a gas station, and this was the worst neighborhood I had ever seen in my life. But the limo driver followed, my orders. I said, as soon as you see a gas station. But I was, young and naive. I didn't know this was the worst friggin' neighborhood and the worst gas station. I got in there, and I asked, do you have Copenhagen Kodiak Skoal? The guy had no idea what I was saying. Apparently, chewing tobacco isn't a thing in the heart of the city of Miami. Huh. Got back in the limo, and as we were leaving, I saw a man on a mini bike, like a 100 or a 125, and it appeared to me he was wearing a full-on old-school cowboy holster with a couple of guns in the holster.
Boy,
I had never
what
seen
a dichotomy there. You look sweet with the double holster, but you're on a mini bike with that.
Yes, a mini bike, and he had an old school holster. I'd never seen anything like that in my life before. And we got the hell out of there as quickly as possible.
I'll give you one.
Go ahead.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes. I hear that place get lit up a lot. Didn't Dick Bramer say he's tired of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Waste of time.
Yeah?
Waste of time.
You didn't see any cool Kiss stuff that you remember, Randy?
I don't remember, but I just remember walking out of there and going, why did I waste my time going?
And then you walk out and you realize that you're still in Cleveland, and that just makes things all the more worse.
Actually, I'm still in Ohio.
There you go.
I didn't think it was overwhelming, but I think I walked out of there thinking now I understand why they put it in Cleveland.
Just so there's something to do in Cleveland?
Right. Yeah.
Nick, would you agree that when we went to Vail with the radio station, it was beautiful, right?
Vail, Colorado.
I had no idea it was that tiny. It was a lot different than it was more underwhelming in the way it was. I expected more, but it was great.
The town itself was very, very small.
Yeah,
was that where we were, Vail?
Yeah, I think so.
I would have answered that differently. But yeah, it was a very, very tiny city.
I always wanted to go
little
there.
town.
I would love to.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't it like it's just like a small little snowboarding town, right? It's like Christmassy vibes constantly.
We just went out there for work and kind of left, but we spent some time, in the quote unquote city, but there wasn't really much.
I stayed pretty tuned up. I don't remember much about.
You almost got into some death blows with a former coworker.
Yeah, we were going to kill each other that night.
That was bad.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
You ever have one of these experiences where we pretty much were nose to nose, and I'm ready to kill this guy in the hotel room? We were hanging out in his hotel room, and then trouble started, and I'm nose to nose with this guy. And had he thrown a punch, I would have torn his head off. but cooler heads prevailed. But still, on the way out, I'm like, you can S my and F and FFF. I'm screaming as many horrible things as I possibly could at this guy because he had it coming. And Josh is with me. And we walked out the room. I slammed the hotel door, and then I turned to Josh, and I said, oh, Christ. And he said, what? And I said, I left my cooler of beer in there.
And he went back and got it.
I went back and got it.
Love that.
Went back and got it. Locked eyes with him the whole time as I was hauling my cooler of beer out of there, just in case he was going to pounce, Randy.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
Beautiful spot. And I imagine if you love skiing and what's that other thing that you do, Wapple? Snowboarding. You would love that area, Vail, Colorado.
It just might be different than you're picturing. I think it was for us.
I'll tell you what, they don't like regular, how do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word for a normal beer?
Craft?
No, normal
like a
beer.
tap
Domestic.
They don't like. They didn't like much for domestic beers in that every bar we went to. What do you got for beers back there? Well, we got Don's Crippled Leopard Ale and Dirty Hippie Juice Ale. And can I just get you got any friggin' Budweiser? What's the matter with these people? That's how they operate over there.
Would you agree Jamaica was different than we thought it was going to be a little bit?
Jamaica.
The resort was beautiful.
Well, all we did was sit in that friggin' resort.
Kind of around, like the long
horrible.
bus drive was
horrible.
That was pretty bad.
Horrible, filthy, awful, depressing. There were so many people just laid out on the side of the road. Yes. If that's what you're referring to, it was kind of sad, and I felt guilty.
I did too.
As soon as we entered the resort,
because the resort is gorgeous,
unbelievable. And then some local hopped over the fence and tried to grab some food, and security's chasing them with batons and whatnot. I thought, this is bad. This is wrong. I feel bad being here.
Yeah, security, they're walking around with rifles. It was odd.
Oh, yeah, that's a different vibe.
I can put China on that list, too. When I went to China with the Wolves, I mean, I don't know what I expected to see, but it wasn't as... I don't know, it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Certain parts sure look pretty on TV, though. Did you see the Great Wall?
No, we didn't get there. No.
Somebody texted in and said the black box that rocks is a disappointment. Yeah. I can see why you'd say that.
Why did you ever have high hopes in the first place?
But the stupid thing that we have at the state fair?
Yep.
Hey, it's got a cool new deck now. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the deck is nice.
That never gets used for anything.
I need a new deck. I'll tell you that. My deck is old. Josh, you've seen my deck.
I have.
Old looking now, isn't it?
It's still impressive.
I need a new deck. How about that Matt Wallner last night? Wasn't that an exciting friggin' first career?
What a bomb.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Gee, many Christmas.
Upper tank and everything.
What a great at-bat, too. I mean, he had struck out twice earlier in the game. He got down 0-2, fouled off 3 or 4 pitches, got the count back, I think, to 2-2. So it was a great at-bat overall.
I mean, he absolutely got everything of that pitch. I mean, he just absolutely clobbered it. And there's a couple of different replays of it that were played. I saw it on Twitter this morning, a couple of other replays of it. Massive swing. I mean, and as soon as the pitcher let it go, he realized, that's not good. And Wallner just crushed it.
That pitcher looked... a little upset with himself.
Oh, yeah.
He put her into the upper tank, his very first career grand slam, and that's a big part of why the Twins beat the Tigers last night. 5-3. You were reading what, Randy?
Longest grand slam by a Twins hitter, 450 feet.
Yes, in the StatCast era.
That's correct.
Yeah. That's right. And he took the spotlight off of Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Hit only his second home run of the year.
And his first to left field.
Yes. And that home run was Miguel Cabrera's 509th career home run, which tied Gary Sheffield for 26th on the all-time list. Johan Duran continues to get tagged a little bit whenever he goes out there to try to gather up a close for the Twins, but he got her done. What did Dick say last night? I mean, he's given up at least a hit in I don't know how many save appearances in a row. It's kind of concerning, but I mean, I guess it all makes sense. Even these days, with the way scouting is done and the strength and the ability of the athletes today, even a 102-mile-per-hour fastball, guys get used to it.
Yeah, sure. We've said this. I mean, you can't just throw that. You've got to have some sort of movement or some sort of off-speed pitch that works too.
But Brad, they were more or less touching up his off-speed stuff last night.
Okay, well,
so
that's concerning because then maybe he's got to tell.
It could be. It is what it is. But yeah, they were teeing off on his curveball last night a little bit. The Faedo kid, Detroit starter, Lenny Faedo's nephew, I learned last night from Dick Bramer.
Oh,
yes, it is. Former Twins shortstop Lenny Faedo's nephew. He looked very sharp. Up until the 6th, the Twins hadn't done a damn thing. But they got to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Now, last night, very likely was Miguel Cabrera's last series at Target Field.
Yep.
And they gave him some gifts. To honor his coming retirement. They donated $5,000 to Miguel Cabrera's foundation of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what he's got going there, but they gave him a custom fishing pole.
Nice.
And a tackle box. And a number 24, that's his jersey number, a number 24 branded fishing hat as well as an engraved hockey stick. That's kind of cute.
And then Bailey Ober gave him something in the first inning, too.
Yeah. But, man, he has teed off on the Twins in his career. In his career against the Twins, 241 games, he's hit .304 with 47 dongs and 169 RBIs.
Wow.
There's only one other team he's hammered harder than the Twins.
The Royals.
Good guess, but no.
The White
Cleveland?
Cleveland. Yes, we were just talking about Cleveland. Day game today, Kente Maeda. And Detroit's going to come at us with a kid named Reese Olson, who's absolutely owned the Twins' asses. 2 starts against the Twins. He's 2-0 with a 0.79 ERA, giving up just 1 run, 6 hits over 11 1/3 innings, 17 strikeouts.
Wow.
I don't know what the hell this kid's got going, but let's hope it can go the other way today. Royce Lewis is back in the mix. I'm very excited for that. He missed some games with an oblique strain. How did you overcome that, Josh?
A lot of Netflix binges, just laying in bed.
Hadn't played since July 1st.
Well,
yes, Randy.
The beauty of Royce Lewis, too, is that he plays multiple positions. So it allows them to give players a break, a day off, and then he can play third, short, outfield. Last night he played third base. So that's the beauty of a guy like Royce Lewis. He's just a rock solid player no matter where you put him, and he can hit third in the lineup. So
yeah, I was going to say his bat's been one of the few that's been the most consistent when he's been in there.
That's right.
All year.
You know, we have listeners texting in on underwhelming visits that they made to this city or that supposed hot tourist spot. I'm going to roll through a few of these. One listener says, the effing Corn Palace is the biggest letdown ever.
I agree.
Yes, it is.
I agree.
100%.
Where is that, Nebraska?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. Mitchell, South Dakota.
Yeah, I went there, but this is 30 years ago. I have no memory of the Corn Palace. Lambeau Field, of course, is underwhelming. Yes, I agree. The Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio.
I've been there. It's okay. The Baseball Hall of Fame is so much better, in my opinion. I tell you what, that's a place where my expectations were not really sure what to expect, and they blew it away.
Which place is this, Randy?
Cooperstown.
Cooperstown.
I love Cooperstown. It is, if you are a baseball fan, it is very much worth the trip.
Heather the Tricycle Jesus texted in about Canton, Ohio. He says, nothing but scumbags and vagabonds in that city. Vagabonds. You sound like my dad. That's cute. What else is going on around here? Oh, Yu Darvish, San Diego Padres pitcher. Yu Darvish upped and struck out a fella Monday night when he was pitching against the Baltimore Orioles. That strikeout was the 1,989th of his career, so he surpassed former Dodger pitcher Hideo Nomo for most strikeouts from a Japanese-born player in big league history. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Haven't heard the name Hideo Nomo in a while.
No,
Yeah, really.
no, there's not a lot of people talking about Hideo anymore. I've always liked Yu Darvish. I've always wished she was going to come this way.
Yep, I agree. He's always been very steady.
Nomo was in the stands to watch Darvish break his record, which I always think is kind of cool. So there you go. And, of course, Shohei Ohtani, everyone expects him to. He's going to have to stick it out for a while if he wants to pick up more than 1,989 strikeouts, but everyone, of course, the sky's the limit with that.
Speaking of strikeouts, Dustin Morris of the Twins put out a tweet yesterday that the Twins pitching staff, starting pitching staff, leads the majors with 700. This is as of before yesterday's game, 739 strikeouts. The next closest team is about 65 behind, which is a big gap between first and second and third. Pablo Lopez, third in the majors with 180. Joe Ryan is 17th. Sonny Gray is 24th. And their 1,070 innings ranked second in the majors. That, again, all those numbers are, I mean, we haven't seen that kind of production by a starting pitching staff for the Twins in quite a while.
Well, had to been back when Frankie and Johan were throwing.
Might have been. And that's definitely the reason why, one of the big reasons why they are in the position they're in right now, in first place by 4.5 in a division that's been pretty muddled. The Twins starting pitching has been phenomenal. So.
Frankie, Johan, and Boof Bonzer back in the day. Hey, Randy, this is going to hurt your feelings probably being born and bred Iowegian. A listener on the topic of underwhelming tourist attraction, a listener says, the Field of Dreams sucks.
Yeah, it's...
bummer.
I mean, you got to be a romantic and love the movie in order to really
you have to like the movie, I think.
Yeah.
If you don't like the movie, I can see where that would be.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here we
that's
go.
a baseball field, all right.
Here we go. Listen to this. This place sucks, according to a listener. Totally underwhelming. The Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame.
Agreed. Never been there.
Someone needs to get them a weed whip. I guess they're the little overgrown on the property there. I don't know. I've never heard of the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame.
I saw an interesting baseball note yesterday. So the Yankees are in last place in the American League East.
You're turning me on, Brad. You're turning me on.
They've lost 4 in a row. The last time anybody, I'm going to quiz you. Last time the Yankees finished last in their division.
Oh, wow. The last time they finished last in their late 80s is my guess.
Close.
Go ahead.
1990.
1990?
Wow.
Yep. And they are mired in last place. They're like 4 back of the Red Sox now, so they may finish
Well,
in
they're
last
only
place.
a 500 baseball team.
Yeah. Right. They're 60 and 60.
Yeah, the Yankees were garbage there in the late 80s and into the 90s a little ways until they decided to bust out there in the mid-90s. Okay.
Which is again, and then you see the Baltimore Orioles that are almost 30 games above 500. That, to me, that's what baseball, what makes baseball so much fun, is the Orioles have been in the position the Yankees, actually way worse than the Yankees are right now. And to see the Orioles as the best team in baseball or one of the best teams is phenomenal. It's just great. And again, it shows that, the right management, the right way to run your farm system, the right moves can even bring one of the worst franchises out of that position and into where they can compete for the playoffs virtually every year is possible. So that's the beauty of baseball.
Texas was 30 games under 500 last year.
Yeah.
And they are 25 over 500 this year and have the second best record in the league.
All I can tell you is I was just reading an article this morning about how terrible the Yankees have been and how they're very likely not going to make the playoffs, and it just that gives me such an awesome feeling. I love when that franchise fails.
You are not alone. There's a lot of people who feel that way.
And Josh, you know how I call myself an idiot, and you always argue with me?
You're not an idiot.
I'm a stupid idiot. Of course I know and I've heard of, and I've seen the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. For God's sake, it's right there in Hayward, over there by Phipps Gentlemen's Club. I can't believe a minute ago I said I didn't. Of course I know the I'd like to get in there. Speaking of the Yankees, 103 years ago today in 1920, a pitcher for the Yankees by the name of Carl Mays smooth killed a guy with a fastball to the temple. Didn't wear batting helmets back then.
Sure.
Oh.
The first and only guy to ever die from a major league pitch was a poor bastard by the name of Ray Chapman, who played for Cleveland at the time.
Oh, the temple.
Fastball in the noggin, and that was it.
Oh.
The lights went out for good.
Wow.
This is funny now, people texting in the different places that they've visited that have been underwhelming. One listener chimed in and said, the airport in Minot wasn't exactly the thrill ride.
But everyone always talks about it.
Yeah, he said it wasn't the thrill ride that was sold to him.
If I see one more Instagram post about how great that is.
The Vikings made a preseason list of 10 NFL teams that everyone thinks will be good this season, but they won't. From a website called Deadspin, they say if you're betting on any of these franchises to have a deep postseason run in 2023, get your head checked. Oh, those teams are the New York Jets, the New York Giants. Again, teams that everyone thinks are going to be good, but they won't. Jets, Giants, Cowboys, Denver Broncos. I hope they improve. I'm a big Sean Payton fan here, as you know. Patriots, Browns, Colts, Buccaneers, Sea Ducks, and Vikings. It says here, they explain further, Randy Shaver, Brad Ruiter. They say having the best wide receiver in the league and a near unanimous choice for the number one overall pick in your fantasy football drafts, Justin Jefferson, doesn't cover up an overall team setup. Still, with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, the Vikings play in arguably the weakest division in the NFC, if not the entire NFL, and they still won't sustain any long-term success. Well, that's what I'm rooting for.
I would push back a little bit on the Jets and the Cowboys because they had good defenses.
I would also argue that the NFC South division is worse than the NFC North. I would argue
agree.
that I would argue right now the Saints, Falcons, Bucks, and Panthers, that division is worse than the Lions and the Vikings being in the North. I think the Lions are going to be really good.
Well, yeah.
So I disagree with that characterization of the division.
Okay. I'm cool with that. Speaking of the New York Giants, now I became a Daniel Jones fan last year when he and his club,
I know you did.
when they beat the Vikings in the playoffs. That was fun. If you don't know me or this program very well, you should know that I love Vikings misery. You're going to have to get over it. You got to get over it. I love it.
There's been a lot of it, too. So.
Yes, and I usually am a pretty happy guy. Back to Daniel Jones, there's a cute video going around where Jones, he's a quarterback for the Giants, for Pete's sake. I mean, that's a pretty high-profile gig, but still, the dude went undercover at a clothing store posing as an employee, and most folks had no idea who the hell he was.
Daniel Jones here at the Boss store. We're undercover. We got a collaboration with Boss and the Giants, trying to sell some shirts, see if anyone recognizes me. You're a big Giants fan? Yeah. Do y'all like football? Are y'all football fans? I am. Who do you pull for? Eagles. Eagles, man. Come on. What do you think about the Giants quarterback? You think he's going to give him a chance this year? Do you know who this is? Oh, how you doing? I'm great. Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you, too. Oh, I'm sorry. This is great. And you're tall as hell.
You tall as hell?
He doesn't have like a distinctive look.
No, he does not.
Looks like somebody. He looks like one of those handsome dudes that would sell you clothes at one of those.
It's easier for football players to pull that off, too, because they're wearing a helmet.
Right.
Exactly. He's tall. But outside of that,
he's very tall. He was just wearing a Boss brand hoodie and a pair of khakis. This was some kind of cross promotion with Boss clothing, whatever they are. But it was he was funny. He was good, especially the line where he runs into some Eagles fans and he says, because the Boss clothing people, they sell Giants memorabilia. So he says to this Eagles fan, "Can I sell you some New York Giants gear?" And the guy says, "Well, my parents would probably be pretty disappointed." And Daniel Jones says, "I'm sure you've disappointed your parents before." Eventually, a few people started recognizing him and taking some selfies. I didn't know he's got a good personality, that guy.
He seems to, yeah.
Do you remember when Matt Dumba would do that at the Mall of America?
No.
He was really good at it, too.
He's a clever guy.
Yeah, the Wild will release some videos of him doing it. He was very funny.
Now, speaking of quarterbacks over there in the New York area, this was funny. Josh Allen, head quarterback of, what do you call the gig?
Buffalo?
Starting quarterback. I don't know why I called him head quarterback. Maybe because he blows. I'm kidding. Starting quarterback for the Bills. Okay, so the Bills had a testy practice, and I'm not trying to continue with the genitalia humor. The Bills had a fight-filled practice the other day, right? Guys are beating each other up. It happens all the time. Totally normal. Although one dude was swinging at someone else with his helmet.
Oh, that's a little too much.
So it was a fight-filled practice. After practice, Josh Allen sits down to talk to the media, and they're asking him about fights. He tries to downplay it, and in the background, you can hear his teammates still screaming at each other.
Josh, I mean, that was about as intense as we've probably seen a practice so far this training camp. What's a day like this do for your team?
I mean, I think all of our practice have their moments, you know, and again, it's expected, it's deserved.
and it's continuing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey!
And he has to yell at him to stop.
No, it's not a big deal. It's fine. And everyone in the background's going, I'll kick your ass. Yo, you going to kick my ass?
Well, and if you watch the video, he's completely distracted by the fight behind him. He's looking around.
And he's kind of smiling. He's like, I don't know what to do.
He's so cute.
Smiling.
But one guy does apologize.
Oh, sorry.
That's funny. Here's a text that came in that says, your guy Sean Payton's a prick. You're a prick. Sean Payton's where it's at. Go Broncos. All right.
That's right.
Now, whenever we talk about fights at football practices, I always got to tell the old Washington Federals story. And a lot of folks don't believe it, but I have video proof of this. The old USFL, before they started up again here a couple years ago, the old USFL, 83, 84, 85, that time period, Brad Ruiter and Randy Shaver, I'm sure remember the United States Football League of the 80s.
Yep. You bet.
You had Herschel Walker playing for the New Jersey Generals. You had Jim Kelly playing for, the Houston Gamblers. Reggie White played for the Memphis Showboats.
Steve Young played for a team, too.
Steve Young, the LA Express.
Yes.
Brad Ruiter. Steve Young played for the... Anyway... I think it was 83 or 84. The Washington Federals, with their starting quarterback, former Golden Gopher Mike Hohensee.
Yes.
They were awful. They were the worst team in a bad league. They were absolutely awful. I don't remember who their head coach was, but he set this up. They were having a lot of fights at practice. Tell me if anyone could get away with this these days. They're having a lot of fights at practice, so the head coach pulls aside one of his players who he trusted, and he said, here's what we're going to do. Next time there's a fight at practice, he says to the player, you start a fight at practice, and I'm going to be in on the bit. So start a fight with somebody, and then when I challenge you, really get pissed at me. And you and I will begin arguing, vehemently. He said, I'm going to put a gun in my pocket with blanks in it. And we're going to get so heated where I'm going to pull this gun, I'm going to shoot you. You pretend that I've shot you, lie down dead. Okay, this is the prank we're going to pull off. And they did it. And I have this on video somewhere, Randy Shaver.
I'm looking at the guy. I think it was Ray Yauch. Jauch was the coach.
That sounds right. And I believe he's dead now. But anyway, I have this on video from an old Football Follies VHS tape that was released in the 80s.
Sure. I love those.
And honest to God, they played it out perfectly. The player starts a fight. The coach comes over and says, I'm not going to take any of this crap anymore. Get over here. And the guy says, F you, coach. You're a pile of garbage. And they're going face to face, nose to nose. And the coach says, I've had it. He pulls the gun out. Bang. The guy lays out. Players were running away from the scene. They really thought that a man had been killed. These days, my damn, can you imagine?
That'll get your attention.
Oh, it says here that former NFL running back Marshawn Lynch is going to join ESPN's Slam Ball broadcast. Yeah, it's going to take more than that. The Slam Ball sucks.
Yes.
Wapple was bugging me this morning. The Slam Ball playoff startup. Yeah, I said, I know. Wapple's all fired up about Slam Ball. I can't watch it, Wapple.
Dude, I'm so excited that Marshawn Lynch is involved.
I know.
He'll be great.
I love Marshawn Lynch.
Because he's a fellow drug addict like you.
Yeah, he's electric. Slam Ball is electric. I mean, what more do you want?
If I hear you call Slam Ball electric one more time.
Boy, Slam Ball is so
powerful.
Yeah, they're throwing Marshawn Lynch into the mix to try to... I tried to get into Slam Ball again. It sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's like one of these tourist attractions we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's good for like a couple seconds.
Yeah. That's a perfect example. It's like when Josh and I went to watch lacrosse.
Yeah, it was good for one game.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
We walked out of there and knew that we were satisfied for life
That's
on
all we needed.
lacrosse.
I had a good experience. Why ruin it?
Now, George Lynch, if he was asked to join, that'd be a completely different story. Marshawn Lynch, I don't think. I hate to even bring this up because I tried to wrap my head around this. I've ignored this for the most part because I knew it would give me a headache. And then yesterday I looked into it and I don't understand. What is this in-season tournament the NBA is doing? What is this?
It's very confusing.
It's okay. If the answer is I don't know, that's fine. We can move on and wait till the season starts.
I tried to read about it yesterday to get an explanation. There's a pool of like 5 teams. 8 teams end up advancing to some tournament that's all played in Vegas.
Why are they doing this?
I think just to give...
Just for more money and more
TV revenue, money, and more interest on the league in a time where, the football is still kind of dominating the scope.
Well, the story is that the Timberwolves named who they're going to be playing in the inaugural in-season tournament. This is
the NBA Cup is what it's called.
I mean, okay, I'll be honest with you. When the season is happening and I'm full-on Timberwolves the way I get, you guys know I'm a massive fan, I'm sure I'll be fine with it. But just at this moment, it seems like a lot of different tweaks that our favorite pro sports put on the game. It seems totally unnecessary at this moment. So...
Yeah, it's like almost a little kid having an out-of-town tournament during the season. It's like if you win it, it's like, oh, cool.
We're going to Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So, whatever, fine, it's okay. I thought if one of you was real passionate for it, maybe we could...
So I guess my understanding is that there are certain games that are designated for this regular season tournament, but there are other games are also sprinkled in at the same time. You're not just playing just tournament games only, and that's it, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's the weird part about this.
Yeah, so like November 3rd, those games are designated as part of the tournament. Games on November 10th, you know what I mean? So it's very confusing.
That's silly. But again, I'm sure when it happens, I'll have my foam finger on one hand and my inaugural NBA in-season tournament hat on because I'm a sucker. Josh, go to lids.com and see if you can find me an inaugural NBA in-season tournament hat. I want to be the first dork in town to be wearing that hat.
Will we hang a banner if we win that tournament?
I bet you they do. I bet you the NBA will force teams to hang a banner so it is presented as more important. Wouldn't you say, Brad Ruiter?
I would think so.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time. I thought he'd already accomplished this, but it says here, a story from yesterday, John Chena, as Santino Marella called him when Santino was in the WWE. John Chena set the new record for most Make-A-Wish Foundation dreams fulfilled.
Yeah, I thought he had done that a while ago.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it says here he just granted his 650th wish through a Make-A-Wish Foundation, and that broke a Guinness World Record. Good for him. Great for him. One of my favorite people we've ever had in the building, John Cena.
There's this video that always brings me to tears. Like, John Cena's reading all these Make-A-Wish thank yous from the family. Then, like, halfway through it, all of a sudden, all these little kids and families, they break through this wall and they come tackle John Cena and give him a hug. It's all the kids that he, like, did Make-A-Wishes for and everything. And they just wanted to say thank you back to John Cena. Oh, boy.
Only Wapple will get this joke. Is that how Cena lost the WWE 24/7 belt? Was one of the kids snuck up on him and pinned him? And then R-Truth ran in the room?
I was just going to say he was distracted and then R-Truth pins him up.
That was a great gimmick. They show footage of a guy getting like pinned in his hotel room in the middle of the night.
They'd be on the plane ride to the next city.
The 24/7 belt. You had to be Randy Shaver and Brad Ruiter. You had to be on guard at all times. It was the 24/7 belt.
All of a sudden, you'd be looking on Twitter on WWE, and it's like, yep, we got a new champion.
Yep.
He's only 10,000 feet in the air.
Yeah, you're on the toilet taking a dump at the airport. Here comes Heath Slater over the top of the... Well, great for John Cena because he is a wonderful guy, and, you know, he helps these families and these kids who are in real trouble.
If you go to a WWE event where he's at, you'll see him do it. I mean, he'll stand outside of the arena and sign autographs until everybody leaves.
That's awesome.
I've seen that a couple times.
I've also seen a video, too, of him autographing merch. You know, you can buy some of the merch, autographed photos. And he can autograph. He's like a machine. He autographs like 10,000 photos in like 10 minutes. He's just got it down to such a system. They're just constantly sliding more underneath his pen, and he's going through like more and more Sharpies. It's incredible to watch.
Now, again, I would love to see John Cena play out about a 10-year-long run as the most disgusting heel in wrestling history.
Could you imagine if he was like MJF?
Oh, because he's been a face for so long. You know, wrestling fans know what I'm talking about. But he started with Make-A-Wish back in 2002. Hell, back then he might have still been a learned doctor of thugonomics back then. 21 years later, here he is. He's a record holder.
He had the best freestyle rap of anybody we've ever had in here. Of all the freestyle raps from people that have come in. Remember that, Nick?
Yes, I do.
We asked him freestyle rap because he was doing that. Wasn't he the doctor of thugonomics at that time?
Yes, he was the doctor of thugonomics. He wore a massive clock around his neck.
Sweet. He came in, we put him on the spot, and he did one, and he incorporated like Kirby Puckett. He was awesome. He made it very Minnesota-centric.
On the fly, we said, freestyle rap about Minnesota, go. And he was able to rhyme Kirby Puckett without swearing.
Impressive.
That's impressive.
He's also donated I don't know what this means, but it sounds incredible. He's donated 6 million airline miles to Make-A-Wish so families can fly to different hospitals and whatnot and seek treatment for the...
That's cool.
I wonder if you'd like Peacemaker, Nick, the show he's on HBO.
Probably not. I've heard stories. Refresh my memory.
It's pretty good.
Me and Dana love it.
Yeah, the show's fantastic.
It's funny, you know, so he's Peacemaker, this like pseudo-hero, right?
Yeah.
And his whole thing is he wants peace, and he's willing to kill any man, woman, or child to achieve that.
I see where you're going with that. But yeah, when he did the freestyle, I think maybe the only freestyle rap that compares to what Cena put together is probably my rap about traffic.
That's a good one.
My rap about traffic, it goes, traffic, traffic, looking for my chapstick. Feeling kind of car sick. There's a Ford Maverick. We'll talk to you guys later. Of course, that's from the documentary Malibu's Most Wanted. I laughed my balls off at that scene. Traffic, traffic, looking for my chapstick, feeling kind of car sick. There's a Ford Maverick.
I'll tell you what, I can't see a Ford Maverick now without thinking of that. Are you doing the same thing? Anytime I see one, I think about B-Rad.
You can't help yourself. Thanks, gentlemen.
You bet.
All right.
We'll talk to you tomorrow, Randy. Brad, we'll talk to you on Friday. We'll take a little break ski and come back ourselves here on the program in a few minutes.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, Minnesota. CJ Ham here. Huddle up for a second. You need someone to go the extra yard when your furnace or AC is out? Give the ball to the certified pros at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been at it for 90 years. Ready? Break.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep. Going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
You're listening to the radio. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, welcome back to the radio program that we got going over here, the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Greatly appreciated.
Oh, yeah. You know that, Cubby. By God, you do. Ashley?
Yeah?
You chicks are shady.
Yeah, we are.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because you pretend to be interested in things to impress a man or to make a man happy. That's hurtful, don't you know that?
I used to do that a lot more, not so much anymore.
You pretend to like things to make us happy or to appease us or to impress us.
What would be the biggest egregious opposition to your personality?
Yes.
What was the one thing that was so different from you that you pretended you liked?
Oh, God, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I honestly, most things that I've thought that I've absolutely hated that a boyfriend has gotten me to try, I've ended up liking.
Okay, but you just said you've done a lot of that pretending. In the,
Yeah, like pretending at first. I guess I pretended to like certain songs and music.
Well, that's fair. That all plays into the theory.
Actually, I was seeing somebody for a little bit that was a realtor, and I had to like pretend to be interested in that, and that was the last thing I was interested in, and he wouldn't shut up about it ever.
He always talked about his work.
Yeah, I was like, wow, man, that's so cool. Like, wow, yeah, tell me more about how. Like, yep, awesome.
I understand.
Boy, you know what? I can't imagine being single again and having to pretend I like to, quote, do things. Like go downtown or go out or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I pretended to like hiking.
Oh,
that was
gross.
a big thing. I was like, and I got out there and I was like, it's hot. I want water.
Awful.
A beer would be nice.
See, I went hiking once with a woman, Ashley, but I fought it tooth and nail. By God, I fought it until the very last second. No, I'm not going to go. Yes, I fought like... Now, there's plenty of men who also pretend to like things for their significant other to make them happy or appease them or impress them, but it just so happens that an article fell into our laps where women are sharing the things they've pretended to like to please a man. A man! I'm a grown man, I'm 40. Who was that guy, Josh? Was that a football coach back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come at me, I'm a grown man, I'm 40. I've got a beard, I've got muscles, I've got
Was that
pubic
Mora?
No, it was a college coach. Doesn't matter.
I have a feeling that I'm going to like relate to a lot on this list. Like I've pretended a lot and just can't remember
You're
right
not
now.
remembering some of your past dishonesty.
Yeah.
And again, it's hurtful, isn't it, Josh?
It is hurtful.
Just be honest with us.
Because, you know what? Maybe we're not as into it as we let on, and we're stuck. It's possible maybe we were pretending we were into something thinking you might think it's cool.
Oh, that's true.
And then the two of you are absolutely miserable at Cirque du Soleil or something like that. Turns out neither one of you wanted to be there.
And again, there's plenty of dudes who do this, but here's what the chicks had to say. Love chicks. Here's what they had to say. The things they pretended to like to please a man. I pretended to like his painfully untalented band. I was a band girlfriend for a while there, she says.
Oh.
Oh, that's got to be tough.
I can just picture the awful kind of band, too, and they really think they're going to make it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Painfully untalented band.
Nah, babe, I'm going to be big one day. You just wait.
She went to every gig, I bet. Yep. At every bowling alley and roadhouse.
Selling merch behind the table.
She probably sold some merch. I pretended to like gin because it was his favorite drink. This lady says it was like choking down battery acid. But now it's my favorite drink. Go figure. She chalks it up to Stockholm Syndrome.
My wife pretended to like football at first, and now she enjoys it. So I could see how that happens.
Yeah, you can get into certain things. Like my ex was huge into Lady Gaga. And, I heard a couple of her songs. They were fine. But then I started listening to more and went to a couple of her concerts. They were a great time. I loved it.
I'd imagine girls you date, Dana, with all your passions, usually those of a prepubescent boy.
Yeah.
They'd have to pretend they're into some of them. There's so many, she can't make fun of every single one.
My God. That's a good point. You have this, your goal, I think, is to be enshrined in the quirky Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? You have all these weird... There had to have been some women who upped and finally told you when you were breaking up, and just for the record, I faked all my orgasms, and I hate Mario and Luigi.
Well, my current girlfriend, we started dating right around the time that Fast 10, the new Fast movie, is coming out. And she's like, yeah, I've seen one or two, I think. She goes, but I'm going to watch them all. I'm going to get caught up. I want to be a supportive girlfriend. I'm like, honestly, don't. You got better things to do with your time. I know what you're doing. That's very sweet, but you don't need to do that. You're not going to like most of them.
Have you faked anything enjoyment out of something she likes?
No, I don't think, nothing I can think of.
But the way you said that, yes, you were in the middle of it. Sure sounded like you were.
No, I'm trying.
right now.
She really likes the Vikings. I don't pretend to like the Vikings. No. I went to a Shinedown concert with her. I didn't really know much about Shinedown, but I ended up enjoying that too. That's one of her favorite bands.
I've gutted out some concerts and whatnot that I wasn't interested in, but I made it very obvious that I was not interested in being there. You know what I mean?
That's enjoyable.
Well, hey, she busted my balls. You gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. I made it very clear hours before the concert started. I have no interest in this garbage. But I went, and then I did the right thing and made it as unenjoyable as possible for everyone. What is there not to understand here? I made it.
That's what you're supposed to do.
All right, more ladies sharing the things they pretended to like for a man. There was the time once when she said, hey, do you want to go see the Bryan Adams concert? And I said, I love Bryan Adams. And then we got there and it was someone named Ryan Adams.
Yeah, that's a different experience, for sure. Making Maps, Jesus, reminds us, Dana, you went on a coffee date and it turns out neither one of you liked coffee.
I just read that text message. I went on a first date with this. We went to brunch. It went really well. So then, and I was new to dating because I had recently gotten divorced. I hadn't been on first dates. So I go, what should I ask her to do? I'm like, I think people go on coffee dates. So I'm like, do you want to get coffee? It just kind of came out. She's like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. And then we were both sitting there and both realized that neither of us were coffee drinkers.
I could see that happening to me, yeah.
It was just kind of like a panic. Like, I want to see her again, but I don't know what to throw out there. So I just go, like, coffee.
Yeah, I could see Ashley just dipping into her purse, pulling out a flask, making that coffee. A little more interesting.
Here's a gal who pretended she watched the entire extended versions of Lord of the Rings. All of their movies. I had to act like I was really into it to appease him.
Boy, that's a commitment.
The extended version.
Yeah, dude, if you don't know.
They're long and boring as it is, and then you extend them?
I love them, but I wouldn't be able to do that again.
Yeah, not a dating relationship. Richard beating Jesus reminds me I did fake how much I drink to a neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
When I met him, the day one, I was out there with my snowblower and my light headband that I was wearing, shining a light on the driveway there. And he's like, hey, man, do you drink beer? Because we drink an S ton of beer. Like, oh, hell yeah, I'm drinking beer all the time. I love drinking. I'm always drinking. I don't even remember the last time I had a drink. And I don't know, I caved. That's happened to me twice as an adult. It just happened to me like a year ago with a different neighbor.
Yeah, just
and I thought I'm
acceptance.
never going to cave like that again, and I did. It's embarrassing.
A lady says, I used to pretend to be worse at guitar than him. I would intentionally play crappy so it wouldn't hurt his fragile ego.
Oh, it's interesting.
Actually, I've done stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you.
What do you mean you've done stuff like that?
Like, what about like pool or something like that?
Oh, 100%. Especially in pool. I taught my current boyfriend how to play pool. He like knew the basics, but I kind of got him into more of like the, I don't know, more serious playing. And so there is some times where, I bring it down a notch, not to completely kill him. Or with golf, actually, if he makes like a really bad chip shot or like a really bad putt, I try to do worse because I feel bad if I do better. I'm like, I don't want him to get mad.
Is he not the greatest athlete in the world?
No, he's a pretty good athlete. He just...
Well, you said earlier on the show that he's a terrific dancer.
Yeah, he's a dancer.
But then
Dancing
again,
boy.
Josh, your wife can dance like a sumbitch, but she's not the most coordinated person in the world otherwise,
No,
isn't
it's
that?
odd. It's incredibly odd.
Yeah.
I mean, she can do all this fitness stuff and the... oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
What have I done? And she can... dance. I mean, she was a professional dancer, but anything athletic, it's very odd.
You throw her
It's
a
terrible.
football and she's likely to fall down a flight of steps.
Oh man,
Yeah,
she is
okay.
super clumsy.
We're talking about women and the things they've pretended to like.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
She's 8:52 already on the Half-Assed Morning Show. We can all be a little shady and dishonest now and again. Sometimes we fake interest in something just to make a significant other happy, to please them, appease them, to attract them maybe. And that's not right. What we've been jaw-jacking about here, women sharing the things they've pretended to like for a man. We continue on. Seinfeld isn't a funny TV show today, and it certainly wasn't a funny TV show when I dated a guy for a few years in the late 90s.
Pretended to like Trailer Park Boys. Yep.
What?
Sorry, Wobble. I'm sorry. You know what? I hate it. I'm sorry, Joey. I always hated it.
But you did pretend? Like, how far did you go? Would you bring up quotes or...
No, we'd watch it every single time I went to his house.
That's
every
funny.
time.
I've heard you guys tell stories of the Trailer Park Boys. Never saw it, but I've heard stories.
It's fun.
Yeah, bubbles.
Here's a lady who says, I root for the Golden State Warriors not because I care about them, but my husband is happier and the sex is better if they win. Do you have, like, Wapple, how about using you as an example? When Orange Cassidy wins a big match, do you really give her to that landlord? You know what I mean? Does it put you in a better mood? Like, this guy gets obviously in a better mood when the Warriors win, and he really throws the old lady into the weeds something fierce. When Orange Cassidy wins a fatal four-way, do you just...
No, not really.
Okay, fair enough.
But I could see how that would happen because when the Gophers men's hockey team just lost that championship game, she thought I was going to cry on the couch. So I would have not been able to do anything.
Well, she's probably used to seeing you doing that.
Yeah.
This is a reference to UFC fighting, cage fighting, I imagine, because a lady says there was a few years where I pretended to enjoy men in their boxing shorts punching and kicking each other.
What about for us, like going out on a weeknight?
Oh.
I
But
kind of did that.
But I imagine, okay, well, for me personally, like I've said a couple times, I make it very clear that I'm not wildly interested in going out on a weeknight, but sometimes I'll go out anyway, just, because the other person wants to.
Yeah, I don't really
So
mind
you're
too
saying
much.
for a while, Wapple, you said, yay, going out on a weeknight, when deep down inside you were saying, oh, no.
Yeah, because, you were hoping to make it into a relationship.
Oh.
So then you're like, oh, yeah, I love going out on weeknights.
I think I'd wear a name tag saying that's out. I mean, don't even ask. Not going to happen.
Put in your dating bio, my bedtime is 6 p.m.
Here's a lady who had to lie and pretend that her boyfriend's vegan cooking wasn't absolutely disgusting. I would stop at a fast food place on my way over to his place for dinner.
Smart.
I don't love anybody enough, and I don't think I ever will, to lie about that.
I don't care about Star Wars movies, says a young lady, nearly as much as my boyfriend thought I did. I feel like I did a pretty good job faking it.
I can think of one shady thing that I remember doing when Facebook first came out. Everybody filled out their full profile, the things they like, their favorite movies, their favorite albums, and occasionally if there's a girl in class I would look to see and
Dana.
I'd be like, oh god, it was up. Mean Girls was on last night, and I couldn't turn it off, so I was up a little late. And oh, you like Mean Girls? I love Mean Girls.
Dana, a guy that I was with for 6 years, when we met each other, we had everything in common. I was in disbelief, our favorite number, favorite color, favorite food. I was like, what is going on? Turns out he looked at my Facebook profile. It was a relationship built on lies.
Yeah, it reminds me of that scene from Something About Mary when Matt Dillon says he's trying to go get a pop from the pop machine. All I got are these Nepalese coins, right? You've been to Nepal? Well, yeah, 3 times last year. Why? What's the big deal?
I don't get there as often. I don't even know why I bought the damn place.
Tell me, Cubby, this sounds maybe to be the toughest act to pull off, just because I can't think of anything less interesting to fake an interest in. A lady says, my ex was an artist, and I use that word very loosely. I used to have to go to his showings and pretend like I understood the art and the vision.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do something I wouldn't even know how to comment intelligently on something like that. It's tough enough when your kids draw something and then ask what you think of it.
Have you ever been honest, Josh?
Yes.
Good.
You'll get better or something like that, and then my wife looks at me like I'm an a-hole.
That's the best way to go. But just be honest from the get-go.
Well, you're going to make him think he's Picasso over here.
Yeah, sorry, kid. This isn't fridge material.
This sucks. Those are the big garbage.
Well, yeah, why is the cat bigger than the giraffe? That makes no sense. This perspective is all off. The colors are terrible.
Now, our listeners, thankfully, because we always love getting the text messages here at the 651-989-9393 kind of a thing. We always enjoy getting their takes on these topics. And as we said a long time ago, it's not only women who fake. Dana was just saying he pretended like he was into the movie. What was the movie again?
Mean Girls.
You didn't like Mean Girls?
No, I actually did like it, but I just used it as an example of I saw it was her number one favorite movie, so I acted like I was up late watching it.
Is this true, Ashley? Your boyfriend's a very good lacrosse player?
Yes, he is.
Yes, CHPW. Jesus checked in.
Very good lacrosse player.
I'd have a hard time faking my fandom in lacrosse. But
he
anyway,
used to coach for a while, too.
Our listeners chimed in, and like we said a long time ago, it's not just women who do these little fake bits. Men pretend to like things, too, to make their lady happy. Here's a dude, I pretended to like politics, and I hate politics, the guy says. Another one was pretending to enjoy those nasty, fancy beers that are super expensive and not worth it. Hey, can I order you a fancy schmancy? Oh, that's my favorite, when deep down you're saying, oh, God, here we go. Wow, a-hole dad Jesus went to an AA meeting to impress a woman.
Oh, jeez.
Another guy? Well, yeah, he got faked out by a lady. He says, my ex used to call my penis perfect, but then we break up, and now, of course, it's too small. A lady says, I've pretended not to know much about cars and small engines so this guy could feel smart. That's good. I pretended to like my in-laws. Deep down, they're annoying and a huge pain in the ass.
That's the number one answer via text here. People
That's
pretending to like family members of their significant other.
That is tough.
Thankfully, they seem pretty cool so far, my boyfriend's family members. I don't know, though.
Yeah.
It's only been a year. You never know.
You've been with them for a year?
Yeah, in 4 days, actually.
Wow.
Good for you guys.
I never would have thought it was that long.
Woohoo.
Never would have thought it would last that long. OSR Jesus said, my wife comes to heavy metal shows, and now I have to watch Days of Our Lives. All is fair in love and war, he said.
Those trade-offs.
Yeah, I was going to say, my girlfriend comes to wrestling shows, and now I have to go to, haunted houses and stuff like that.
Skydiving.
It's that I've never gotten involved in this, but it's part of what some people call a big part of relationships. It's called compromise. I think I'm saying that right? I understand. Finally here, a lady texted in to say, my husband likes hockey, I absolutely hate it, but she did fake it for a while to make him happy.
Well, people are just nice, I think.
They're nice people.
That's it. They're just trying to be nice.
Not trying to hurt any feelings, but you can escape all this awkwardness by just being honest from the friggin' get-go.
That's true.
But it's not as easy as it seems.
And you might think, well, this is probably not going to last. Why don't I just pretend I like whatever this particular thing is? And then you get stuck, don't you, Dana? You're in that situation right now.
I am?
Best of luck to Minnesota Truck Driving Championship Jesus in Ohio for the National Truck Driving Championships.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It's savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning State Fair specials. Savings from $30 on a tune-up all the way up to $950 on a new cooling system. Visit standardheating.com/offers for details on all their State Fair deals.